Tottenham bottle it late. United bottled it late. The bottle job brothers. Mud club membership. Atrocious. That's the game. I'm glad we didn't lose. I'm glad we didn't. The undefeated streak continues. I'm glad about all of that. But overall, that was an horrendous game of football by both teams. Both sides have got mentality problems. Both sides have got no bottle, which means they've got no arse. It means bottle is bottle and glass, which rhymes with arse, which means you've got no arse, which means you shit yourself. And that's what both these clubs do on a regular basis. We're going to break the game down. We're going to go through it in more details. Please like, share, and subscribe. But I'm fuming. I weren't happy when we were winning. If I'm being honest with you, I was angry. I didn't like the display. We will talk Tottenham. I'm going to start with Man United, though, because I hated everything I saw out there today. Genuinely hated everything. That was abysmal on every single level. Abysmal. The only part of the game for Man United today that was good was what? The opening goal, very well worked. Lemaine's pulling off a couple of good saves and a good set piece and goal at the end. There's 3 moments in the match where you go, there's some quality. Outside of that, it was horrendous. And I wouldn't have cared if we'd won it 1-0 or if we'd gone on to win 3-2 at the end. I'd be criticizing Man United in exactly the same way. Feet firmly on the ground, remember. The result, of course, is important, but the performance and these players. Let me just tell you something about these players. I get a lot of people come for me. In the Football Terrace community, forget the outsiders. I don't give a shit about them. I get a lot of people come for me and they do this whole, you can't say the players don't work hard. Can't say the players aren't trying. Can't say the players aren't giving their all. You can't say the players lack mentality. You can't say the players lack effort. You can't say the players, you can't say they're bottle jobs. Can't say they're not strong. You're not going to say all those things today. But these players are a big problem. I'm talking about the collective. When Bumo was good, I'm not talking about individuals. Just stop that and let's have a conversation. 2 weeks running. 2 weeks running. This team has conceded 2 goals in the space of 5 minutes that could have cost us. That's not normal. It's not normal on any level. It is not normal on any level to concede like that. Bash, bash. Bash, bash. Bang, bang. 2 weeks running. It's up there. That isn't system. That isn't training. That's a mentality issue. And I'm always nervous around people that have mentality issues. Genuinely. People that have mentality issues scare me. They're unpredictable and they'll often let you down on any level. You know, if you've got a friend who can't take a joke, they're unpredictable, they'll probably let you down. You've got a friend that borrows money, doesn't pay you back. It's all mentality, by the way. It's all mentality and behavior. And this Man United squad, honestly, I'm happy when they play well and I praise them, but they wind me up so much because today they stunk. They stunk like shit. Sewage. Raw sewage today. In fairness, I'm going to praise one other little element. I actually thought that Mount came on and looked quite good. I actually was quite impressed with Sesko until he went off injured. And his haters and detractors will say, well, should have scored when he got put through on goal. Listen, I'm not taking away that tackle from Mickey van der Ven. He took that away from him. I mean, Sesko did nothing wrong. He did everything right. But the subs were quite good. But then we still bottled it. We still bottled it. And I'll give them a little leeway because Sesko got injured. We went down to 10 men. I can't blame anybody for that. I can't. But these players just cannot see things through. I was watching the game with my son. He's like, I think we'll be all right if we get the next goal. We had to go 2-0 up. But these players, why when people say, Terry, why are you not predicting wins away from home? Because I know my football club, you don't. You don't understand. At home, I think we're building a resistance. But this team has no the skin is so thin. The skin is so thin. You know, you ever been around a man who takes the piss out of everybody, laughing, jokes and banters everyone, but you say one thing about him, one bit of banter towards him, and he cries like a little bitch, wants to fight everyone, thinks he's an hard nut. Normally, blokes in the gym doing roids are like that as well, but you get my point. Those kind of men remind me of this Man United team. One little bit of adversity, one little thing goes wrong, and it's all out war. But the war's on us. We don't take it out on the opponents. Fuming. Absolutely fuming. We couldn't hold the ball today for any length of time. And everybody was guilty. Every player was guilty. As I say, when Sesko and Mount came on, I thought it got better. In fact, factually, it just did get better because Spurs had around 56 to 57% of the ball up until those substitutions. For when those substitutions happened, and until Benjamin Sesko went off, which is an important distinction to make, until Benjamin Sesko went off, in that period, we went up to nearly 60% of the ball. So it did what it was meant to do. But we still collapsed at the other end. But we needed to do that earlier. The players that were on the pitch should have been doing better than they did. I'm not expecting Vitinha. I'm not expecting Pedri and Gavi levels. But Bruno Fernandes today, horrendous. Casemiro today, horrendous. Cunha today, fuck me. You're meant to be one of the people that stopped this from happening. How many times did he run into a crowd of players? I've got an option, right? Open field over here, 4 Tottenham players. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run into that crowd of players. All game. All game. Bruno. Boom. Tick, 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 tick. Boom. Tick, tick, tick. It was like a grenade launcher today. By the way, I don't mind when he does that, when he's putting players in behind. I don't mind when Casemiro does it and we're trying to break a line to attack. I'm all for it. I'm not a football snob. But it was mindless. We just couldn't keep hold of the ball. We really could. It was so jarring because this Spurs team were there for the taking. They really were there for the taking. And I feel like we gave them hope. Listen, their equalising goal, the touch from Tell was excellent. The shot was decent. Obviously, a deflection, so a little fortuitous in that. But they deserved it. As soon as they went 1-1, I knew they were going to go and get the winner. The only thing I didn't account for, and I've probably when I calm down, I'll give United credit for it. But we brought ourselves back together and went down the other end and scored a goal to equalise in the match. But I knew they were going to go 2-1 up. It's a really good Richarlison goal, to be fair. But sometimes I hate this team. Sometimes I despise this team. You know, and it will be, the system will get blamed by some, and it probably played a part in today's issues. Some will blame the players they hate and defend the players they like. For me, this is a collective issue. We've got to start looking at this as a team. Our mentality away from home is so weak. And do you know what's really crazy? I actually felt we became a worse team today when we went 1-0 up, which shouldn't really happen. But it did. We became a worse team when we took the lead. And what we really need is to get those second goals, hopefully build a little bit, I say, resistance and confidence. But I'm just so disappointed. I can't even think about the draw. I don't really care. Equally, I wouldn't have been buzzing that we were second if we'd won the game either. My feet would still be firmly on the ground. But I keep telling people, and I keep saying it till I'm blue in the face, we need new players, and we need new players who have got a better mentality. I know that some will say the manager's got to coach it into them. I think what you also have with this squad, and I've said it about the previous 3 managers, and it's not about him, is that every manager inherits a squad that has so many battle scars. And I liken it to this. If you've got a loft, wooden joists, and you've got rot, there's loads of the joists that are covered in rot. You have 2 options. You can take out all the rotten wood and rebuild your roof, which is expensive, time-consuming, but it will fix things. Or you can do what a lot of United fans ask for. Let's just stick some fresh wood over the rotten wood. That way the roof won't collapse. And we'll deal with the rot again in a year's time when the new fresh wood's rotten. And that's always been my biggest fear, is that we never clear it out. so many players in this team, and I get why they have the PTSD. They might do some good things for us, but as a collective, you can just see the tension as soon as we take the lead in a game. And we can go on about systems and shapes, 5 at the back, 3 at the back. We can do the fucking okey-dokey and we can turn around. But that is a recruitment element that needs to be implemented, and it's going to take time. It's going to take time to fix it, and I'm aware of that, but I'm annoyed today. I'm really annoyed at this team. Look, I'd love to get your thoughts. I'd love to get your opinions. Let us know in the comment section. Please hype the video up as well, please. Really important to us. But, this team stinks. Let's have a look at some of your comments here before I bring the panel out to have their say. Terry, what's your thoughts on Tottenham? They weren't very good today. I don't understand what they're a bit like Man United away from home, but at home. You can almost see this like nervousness over them. You can almost see this tension they have at home because they know they've got a bad record, which for them obviously is a massive shame. But I want to make sure I say this in the right way. Away from home, they look a better team. There are some very, very good players in that side. I actually thought that Xavier played quite well today. I marked it down. But they're like Man United. They need a lot of better players to be bought. That's the issue that you've got there. I think people can bemoan the manager all they want, but he's picking up a broken squad from a mentality perspective. And I know they won a trophy last year, but it hasn't made them any mentally stronger, really. You saw that at the end. They're playing against 10 men. They've gone 2-1 up in the last minute of the game. And what did Spurs do? And I'd be fuming if my club did it. I'm not expecting them to attack all guns blazing and leave room in behind. But they went, right, guys, let's all sit in and invite all the pressure on. We couldn't get out. We had no outlets. And I'm not saying push up. But I was also saying don't sit so deep. Maybe Thomas Frank instructed it. But I get to this point with Tottenham. You see this so regularly under multiple managers. I get to a stage where I think, well, I can't keep blaming the manager. You know, if you've got your mate, John, that's a fake name, but you get the point here. John's like, yeah, you single again? Yeah, what happened? You know what? It's a third girlfriend running that says I'm a really possessive control freak. Well, maybe you are, John. Maybe it ain't them. And I look at that sometimes when it comes to Tottenham. There's loads of things to blame their previous managers for and something to blame Frank for. But yeah, they're as mentally weak as Man United. I'm going to say that. I'm not even Fran shade. Some will agree with me, some won't. Let's go through some of your comments that have come through here. They're not all going to go up on the screen because I'll click the button late, but we'll get some of them up on the screen. This one here says, best result as a Gooner, seeing Spurs thinking they'd won it and United fans devastated, then seeing Richarlison and the Spuds devastated. Perfect. Do you know what Richarlison do you remember the game at Liverpool where they came back from 3 or 4-0 down or something? Maybe it was 2-2, I don't remember, but they got a last-minute equalizer. Richarlison did the chicken dance. And then Jota, God rest his soul, went straight up the other end and scored. That's why I find it hard to always put things on. When I see something that's almost become systemic within a football club, irrespective of the coach, I start looking at it as a club mindset, as opposed to, which is like a rot in the dressing room, as opposed to an individual manager. But that's just me. United unbeaten in 5, Spurs equals Spursy. Yeah, we're unbeaten in 5. There are, listen, there'll be we've got a panel coming on soon. They're all going to have a different view on this. We're all going to have a different opinion to me, and that's what we're here for. Maybe, listen, I said about drawing with Forest. I'm annoyed. I'm more annoyed this week because I feel this was a game we were leading till very late. We'd actually seen them off quite well in the game, but I was more frustrated that we couldn't string these passes together. I was annoyed that we couldn't kill the game off when it was there for the taking, because I think that's what we need now to start growing, to start sort of developing an element of resilience in these games. And where you don't really grow resilience is where you're always on edge, if that makes it. Where you sort of, that anxiousness we felt again, we'll feel the same in the next game we're away from home. We'll go 1-0 up maybe, and it'll be like, we could collapse again. And we need to get away from that, man. We need to get away from that. I don't know how we do it, other than buying new players. 90 minutes, slapped 10 quid on Richarlison, third goal, and Spurs win. Should have cashed out the 140. Bottlers incarnate. But that was an excellent bet, but fuck you. love DR. That was really something. I watched it because I had free time and got to say what just happened. To be honest with you, the last 10 minutes of the game was amazing. If you're a neutral, the first 90 minutes would have been one of the worst watches this entire season. It was so poor, such poor quality football. Gary Neville was right on Sesko assessment, but YouTubers want to make reaction videos. Maguire much better than Euro every time, 5 unbeaten. So again, I don't really look at Sesko as doing too much wrong when he came on. 2 or 3 really good bits of hold-up play, linking in his players, which we weren't able to do for large parts of the game. The first time Mount put him through, I think the ball was put out wide. He cuts on to beat his first man. But do you know what the issue we have at that point? And again, the untrained eye is going to blame Sesko. The issue is that Sesko then has all these defenders running at him. Why? Because no one else is in the attack pulling defenders away. He could have done better with the first chance, though. I think he should have had his head up maybe a little higher. The second opportunity, the ball's played through, the touch is fine. Mickey van der Ven just gets back and makes a brilliant tackle. Because if it's the other way around, based on your own, like you look at you're talking about how good Maguire was. Well, why was Maguire good? Because of those touches that he got on the ball that stopped Richarlison having a clear chance to score. So you'll praise Maguire for making those defensive actions, but you'll criticize your own striker for a defender doing the same thing to him. First one, I think you can criticize him for. The second one was a really good tackle. Plus, he clearly got injured when he was running as well. That's why he had to go off. So I'm going to defend him a bit. And the reason why Man United fans are annoyed at Gary Neville is we don't think, a lot of us don't believe we need to put extra pressure on the young lad right now. Terry, it's Man United that bottled this game. In all honesty, you play 1 match a week and you still allow Spurs to score 2 after being 1 up. I mean, listen, I said it at the opening of it. That being said, Spurs had a minute to play and they were leading the game and they didn't see it out. We're not a very good team and we're away from home, and Spurs, could have said Man United bottled it. I put Spurs on there, but I said at the beginning they did. Fair point, mate. Not that it means much to them, but I sincerely apologize to Arsenal fans for calling them boring. There's levels to this. The amount of back passes is what Blaze says here. Yeah, the fact that people call Arsenal boring is one of the worst takes in football at the moment. They're not the boring ones, their opponents are. Their opponents are the boring ones. You ever been in a relationship where you want to go out and party, but your other half wants to sit indoors and watch TV? Oh, they're a boring couple. No. He is. He wants to sit in and wants to chase on the Saturday night. You know what I mean? That's why she left John. What do you expect when you are literally inviting pressure by putting 11 men behind the ball all of the second half? Talk about the manager. So this is where I disagree with you, though, because I don't think he tried to put all 11 men behind the ball. We were trying to get the ball out, but Casemiro kept on losing it. Cunha kept on losing it. Okay, Maz was playing poorly. So what did the manager do? And you saw this. And this again, I've got facts to back up what I'm about to say. I can't wait to see your rebuttal with fact rather than just opinion. He then made the changes, and we went from having around 40% of the ball to having nearly 60% of it, and we were trying to score more goals. So in one breath, people are criticizing Sesko for not finishing a couple of chances that the substitutions from the manager made to try and make us attack more. And in the next breath, the manager just sat 11 men behind the ball and wasn't trying to score goals. So which is it? I know you didn't say both, but I want to put this out to the panel. Which is it? Did the manager stink the gaff out by making us defend and didn't want to score goals? Or are we criticizing the attacking players for not capitalizing upon the chances that were created here? And if we were creating chances, if we were pushing men forward and should have scored, how can we then say the manager sat 11 men behind the ball for the whole game? The reason we didn't create so much in the second half until the latter stages is because the players were having stinkers. The manager was trying to get another goal. You could tell that by his substitutions. I look forward to hearing back from you. Amorim made unnecessary early subs. Which ones do you think were unnecessary? I'd love to know which ones you think are unnecessary. You need to break that down for me. Did United ask Liverpool for permission for a set-piece goal? Yeah, we lost 2-1 today. There are haters, but watching a footballer and acknowledging them turn like a truck or take a heavy touch isn't hating. Sesko has been disappointing. Yeah, I don't think... It all depends on your motivation, doesn't it? So I think criticizing a player... I criticized him last week as well. I don't think that is hating. But I think if you, for instance, like the last super chat I spoke about, the manager sat 11 men behind the ball, we weren't trying to attack. In the next breath, our players didn't finish our opportunities and chances. So which one is it? It's about having a consistency in what you're saying here. And I think that I would criticize Sesko for the first opportunity he had. But his hold-up play, I thought he did all right with the ball at his feet today. We didn't get the ball into him that often, if we're being absolutely honest. But when he did, there was a wonderful bit over by the left-hand side around about the 80th minute. Wonderful play. We didn't do that for the whole second half. We didn't have that outlet. Now, he isn't going to win every single one. He's not going to, no attacker, no striker, as a target man, collects the ball every time, lays it off to a teammate every time without losing it or without being dispossessed by a centre-back of the level of a Van de Ven. It doesn't happen. But yeah, I don't necessarily think he has been disappointing, but that's where we see it differently. But where I think people hate is when they have an agenda and they push it. So obviously this week, me and David had a number of conversations, and in one breath he said we shouldn't have bought Sesko, we should have bought a midfielder, and he said it's not about Sesko. And then the more he talks about Sesko, the more he starts saying how bad he is, and so you sit there and go, well, do you want the midfielder because you really think it would improve Man United? It's a conversation piece. Do you really want the midfielder because you think it would improve us? Or is this about pushing your agenda? And there's nothing wrong with having agendas. Everyone has an agenda, and it's absolutely fine. Is it more about pushing the agenda that you don't think Benjamin Sesko is good enough? So yeah, I think that's there. Two of the worst top six sides in today's game. Yeah, today was poor. Don't know what Amorim said at half time, but sitting back when Spurs were there for the taking, Spurs looked like the only team would score in the second half. Listen, I understand. Listen, I disagree with, I get the frustration. I just disagree. I don't think we were trying to sit back. This is how I was viewing the game. We would get the ball and we'd either boot it into spaces where there was no players, or we tried to play out and we just kept on fucking losing it. Kept on losing it. I was very happy to play counter-attack in the second half, so absorb a little bit. We were so bad at getting the ball out. So bad. So many good opportunities to counter, and we just fluffed our lines every single time. Again, we dropped points, and the majority of the blame goes to the players. What a shock. You say they were there for the taking. Who set up the team? Pragmatic again, Terry. I don't think we set... Again, you 1-0 up. I have no issue with countering. No problem with it. I expect the players to execute it better. I really do. I don't look at that and have an issue with it. Not one little bit do I have an issue with it. Not me personally. But the first half, possession was pretty much the same. Same amount of attempts on goals. But we were really poor in the first half. The amount of times we had the ball, we go, right, play that pass. We're in. Mess it up. I don't think that was... I don't look at the manager. I'm looking at the players' performances at executing their roles. And they should have done a much better job. The one attack in the first half where they actually all did their job, we scored. Now, I don't expect to score off every attack, but the amount of times we don't even get shots off is ridiculous. I can't blame Amorim for Cunha running into a crowd of free players when there's a player free to his left where he can dribble in the other direction. I'm not going to blame Amorim for Bruno sometimes needlessly just booting the ball up the field. Get the ball down and play with it. And why do I know that Amorim was encouraging that? Because the subs that came on did it. And I'm going to keep it 100. You remember when City fans used to go, Terry, don't have a go at Jack Grealish for not taking his man on. Pep tells him not to. Gets taken off. New winger comes on. Starts dribbling past everybody. Oh, what? So it's only Jack Grealish he tells not to beat people. Fuck off. Remember Liverpool fans? No, Terry. Trent, oh God, Trent doesn't lose his runners when he's defending. The manager tells him not to, so he's ready for a counter. Every other person that plays right back goes with his runner. The manager wasn't asking them to keep booting the ball that way. It's why he made the early changes. And then we started having more of the ball. And that's there when those chances that you're all criticising Sesko for, which one of them I will criticise him for, happened. You can criticize the manager. That's on you today. I'll let you have it. But for me, it's not what I saw. They gave Amorim Sesko 5 weeks without a goal. Miracle. Sesko's gone 5 weeks without scoring. Really? Has it been that long now? I suppose Sunderland was, yeah. Well, are you including 2 weeks international break in that? It's a little cheeky of you, my friend, but I'll let you have that. That's a fair result, but my word, both teams are so bad, is what Jerome says. Yeah, I mean, look, I've got being honest with you, Jerome, I felt, aside from how bad Man United were in the second half, and I felt like a goal could come, when it went to 2-1, at that point, I felt really hard done by. I felt Spurs don't really deserve to win this, but that's football, right? So yeah, I think you're spot on. I think you're spot on with saying that it's in the end a fair result. Let's do some more of these comments here. I couldn't play for Bruno and his lack of accountability. He blames everyone but himself for his own mistakes. I don't really want to be sitting here disagreeing with too many of you on things, but I did see him have a pop at people today when they didn't move in the right areas. But he's captain; he's meant to do that. But I also see Bruno, like when he got put through on goal, he controlled it and his shot was awful and it went out. I didn't see him blame anybody. I see him look at the heavens and shout something in Portuguese that I would expect is, I'm a fucking idiot for missing it. That's for me someone that also has a pop at himself as well. So I do disagree with you. I don't see him make his own mistakes and just go, right, who can I look at to blame? I think he does. But he's the captain and his job is to tell people where they should be. Amorim didn't have to take Dorgu off for his son, the low, regardless of the yellow. Dorgu was playing decent. Ruben bottled this game. That's really fair, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't have taken Dorgu off either. Would we have not conceded? Maybe not. What we would have had is an extra substitution, and I think that's a really fair comment there. I don't know what your name is because I don't put the name to me anywhere. Shima Hamilton. Shima. I can't read all those letters together like that. Dyslexia kicks in. Ding ding. Right, I'm going to bring the panel out in a few moments to have their say on the show. That was a bad sub, Terry. Yeah, no, I should agree with you. Yeah, you're actually right. To be fair, I kind of forgot about that one, but good point, good shout. Shima. It was Shima. I did read it as Shima. My brain weren't working, mate. I'm still there. Right. So I'm just reading some more of your comments here. Staffy is going to call you. It's cool. I mean, go for it. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Do you know what you can do sometimes? Sometimes you just give your opinion. Give it. Go on, my friend. Terry went from dyslexic rave and had an F. Yeah, I don't know what that means, bruv. Try again. Try that joke again. It might work. Right, bring the panel out now and have their say. So I was just reading a couple of bits there. Do you know what it is? My brain went absolutely dead. That's what I was looking for. It's like I had to do something. I couldn't work it out. Right, let me move myself over. KJ's here. Kate is here. We got Cam. We got Ethan. We got Cal, Sonshine. We got Ash with us as well on the show. And Mr. Bond here. Welcome back to the show. Good to see you again, Kate. Good to have you on. I'm going to go to Kate first, actually. Kate, what did you make of your team? Because I haven't spoken much about Tottenham at all, so I'll go to you. What did you make of Tottenham today, Kate?
Look, I thought it was a poor game with two average teams. You want to know the truth? I don't think there was much to shout about on either side. I think a draw was a fair result. Tottenham didn't really come to life to the last 10 minutes of the game. Before then, it was pretty poor. I don't understand why Richarlison is ever putting on a Tottenham shirt again. I know he scored, but this guy, I just can't.
He's busy taking it off most of the time, Kate.
He is so bad as a footballer. He literally is so bad. And yet when Tell come on, he made a bit of a difference. Look, I just thought it was a bang average game. We gifted you the first goal. They passed it to Van der Ven when he was bang under pressure. Couldn't do much with it, which it was a nice goal. Then I thought we come back into it. But when you're a Tottenham fan, it don't matter if we'd have come in and gone 3-1 up with 2 minutes to go. I'm never sitting there thinking we're going to win this. So, you know what I mean? What makes me laugh is your title is that Spurs bottled it. And yet you was 1-0 up for all that time. And yet you let Spurs with Richarlison and Tell up front, who everyone criticises non-stop, score 2 goals.
I hear that, right? But I also know about my view on it was this, right? On the title. And through democratic process, I've added Spurs and United bottled the title. I updated it, actually. But my view is this. My view is it's harder to hold on to a lead for, say, 70 minutes away from home than it is for 1 minute at home. If you said to Man United, you're going to go 1-0 up and have a minute to see it out, that's a lot harder than saying you're 1-0 up, you've got 70 minutes to see it out. Like, it is harder to hold on to a lead for 70 minutes than 1 minute. That's why I worded it that way, yeah.
No, but you're right, Terry. Spurs did bottle it. And you seem to be forgetting that Man United were down to 10 men.
Yeah, that's the big like that.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So they did bottle it. Like when before Spurs scored that second goal.
Oh, do you know what? I've changed the title again. Now back to Spurs. There we go.
There you go, Terry.
Don't say we're not a democracy. But Kate, look, I hear you, and that's why I was so gutted when you went 2-1 up, because I looked at it and just thought Man United have done that a lot in this last. This is the problem for United fans. Amorim will get a lot of the blame, and I get it because he hasn't improved this enough yet. But I feel like this has been 2 to 3 years at United. We can be winning in a game, we can be comfortable in a game, but we have these 5-minute moments of madness where it goes. What did you make of Xavi? I want to ask you about Xavi Simons, because there was a massive booing from the crowd when he was taken off. Did you agree with his substitution? I mean, you scored 2 goals after it, so maybe it was the right thing, but should he be left on the football pitch?
Look, I'm not going to criticise, because the 2 subs that come on, Udogie assisted Tell, so it was the right thing to do. But at the time, I didn't want him to go off. I see people saying he's crap in the chat, and I think we're starting to see slide, not a brilliant performance, but we're starting to see glimpses of what he can do. He done a lovely little turn in the middle of the park. But look, I don't like to say what he did was wrong, because it worked. It's only that De Ligt did a brilliant header at the end to snatch a point. But I'm more pissed off that Richarlison spent 5 minutes crying on the floor because he actually managed to do his job and score a goal. He should have got straight off of his knees, G'd everyone up and said, right, come on, let's hold on, finish it off. But he's too busy crying. I mean, what is this man? I don't understand.
Richarlison isn't a footballer. He's not a footballer. Something's wrong with that guy.
I agree. I agree.
Like, watching him today literally actually got me angry, watching Richarlison play football. Like, all his decisions are wrong. His touch is wrong. His runs are wrong. Every time Tottenham's trying to link up play in the final third, he just misplaces the pass, misplaces the touch. I don't get it. I really don't get Richarlison. And I really don't get Brendan Johnson either. I just don't get these guys. And to be honest, I feel sorry for Xavi Simons, because every time I'm seeing him progressing the ball, he's literally on an island by himself. Like, he's just surrounded by Manchester United players, and now he has to slow down on the transition because there's literally no one to play off. Like, people are saying Xavi is bad. It's like, dude, in order for him to do anything in the game I was watching, he will literally have to dribble past like 3 or 4 players and take the shot himself. There's literally no one to play off of. I think something was wrong. Like, I know I'm not a United fan or Spurs fan, but just watching the game today, it just felt from the first minute, no team really wanted to take this game by the scruff of the neck. I don't think any team wanted to impose their will on the game. I felt like Spurs were just trying to maybe counter what United was doing, and United was trying to do the same thing, but no one was actually taking any risks or trying to play football. So I think that's why
the issue, though. I hear you. I don't think we weren't trying. I think that's just, we saw 2 mid teams in a full-on mid-off. It was just
it was really bad. Watch like, as a neutral, bro.
To be completely honest, like, for me, it was a sloppy game, start to finish. There's so much conversation right now in all the group chats. Oh, manager, this and that. It was like, this was just it was a mid-game when it comes to execution from both teams. In the first half, United looked good when we were playing with the ball in their box for a bit. We had a few moments of looking good. In the second half, we literally couldn't hold on to the ball for our lives. We couldn't. We made a positive change by bringing in Sesko and dropping Maz. Like, we tried. Like, this is the problem where it's like everyone's like, oh, United sat back. No, we didn't. Spurs just played better in the second half than we did. Like, that was just facts. Like, they just pinned us back. Like, we have a midfield too. The problem is, and honestly, like, I owe Staffy an apology, because he was completely right about fucking Ugarte. Like, that, at the end of the day, like, when I watch the games and people will be like, oh, De Ligt got spun. I always try to think of, well, how did he get put in that position? How he got put in that position was because Odegaard picked up the ball, dribbled, crossed half the field, half the pitch, with Ugarte holding on for life, trying to catch up to him. completely out of position, and he put in a very good cross, and it stuck to Tal's. It stuck to Tal, and he put in a great shot. Like, for me, I would rather, and I get it, Cass wasn't amazing all game, but I'd rather a tired Cass who would be out there, who'd probably be in better position, and who at very least would have taken Odegaard out.
Mm-hmm.
At very least, he gets there. At very least, he takes his legs, and it's like, and he looks around, make sure it's not a red. Okay, cool. We stop the attack. That would have been, for me, sufficient. At least you do that, because that's where I get pissed off when I look at these players, and I'm like Ugarte is so bad that you're like, he comes on and we were ready. That was 10 men. Never mind when Sesko went off. It was like, now we're down to 10 men. Now our midfield is completely fucked. When Bruno already struggles in that role defensively, he's already not good defensively in that role. I think offensively he's been completely fine this season, but defensively he's already bad. You put somebody who's even worse than like a tired legs Cast beside him, and it's like we have zero midfield whatsoever. And that's what caused a ton of problems at the end of that game for us. That for me, that was the biggest issue. I don't think either team didn't want to take a game by the scraps. I just don't think the quality was there, and it was evident with the substitutions. Even like, we're looking at our bench, and people were like, "Oh, like listen, if Mainu was healthy, I'd have been actually really upset with the substitution today, but he wasn't healthy, so I can't be mad that he brought in Ugarte. But you look at the bench, and you're kind of like, who else is he going to bring on? Xerxes? Like, Xerxes hasn't been great for us. Like, there's really, like for like, we don't have great players coming off that bench. And I don't think Spurs do either. I think Spurs players coming off the bench were better than the players they started. But like, realistically, if you go down through the top 15, 16 players, once you get past our 11, I'm scared of who you have to bring on.
That's the problem with Man United, and it's the problem with Man United fans right now. Is like, we have this well, not all of us, but a lot of us have this inflated view of how good our squad is. And after that 3-game run, it's, guys, flipping back, man. We're gonna beat Forest, we're gonna beat Spurs, we're gonna go on this mad winning run, we're gonna finish top 4. And it's like, guys, do not remember what happened last season. We finished 15th. The season before that, we finished 8th. We lost to Spurs 4 times in a row, one including the final. And part of it was the squad is the squad is a problem. And when we look at our midfield, today is the day where I'm like, this is why us not buying a midfielder in the summer was a problem. Because we needed today someone to come on and be like, right, guys, let's slow this crap down. Yeah? Let's make sure these passes stick. Cunha, stop running into players and actually come play with us, because we needed to keep the ball for at least 5
I'm glad
minutes.
someone else saw that, because that was doing my nothing.
Mr. Bond actually spoke to me. He said Cunha, he has a point about Cunha that he wants to say when it comes back on. But for at least 5 minutes, we needed to keep the ball, and no one could do it. And that's why I was getting pissed off, because I'm like, of course it's going to come. The first goal is going to come, because we can't keep the ball. We got to talk. Like, listen, Mason Mount's pass to Sesko. People get on to Sesko, yeah? And fine. We can get onto him. But that pass into Sesko for the first goal wasn't good. When my striker has to stretch to try and get the ball, it's not a good pass. So Mason Mount, poor pass into the middle. Ugarte, there's a thing that he does, this is how I know I'm done with him, because every player knows how to deal with him. Because he likes to snap, players will just do a little feint. All they need to do is a little feint. They'll wait for him to do a motion, got him. They'll wait for him to do it, because all he can do is lunge for a tackle. That's all he can do. They'll wait for him to do that little motion forward to go for the lunge, and they'll go for it. That's how Odegaard got away. He's like, all right, cool, little body feint, gone. And it's too easy. And the midfield is always going to be a source of contention. But going back to the point I was starting with, United's squad is not top 4. Can we just get it out of our heads? And people get it out of their minds. We're not a top 4 squad. Listen, if we make top 6, that is very, very, very good. But we're not even a top 6 squad right now. We are.
I don't know about that one, because looking at the field. Looking at the field.
In my opinion, we are top 10, top 5, top 8, guaranteed top 8.
Yeah.
Squad. When we're pushing up to top 7, top 6, that's when we get some conversations. The conversation with our squad. When we get into top 4, listen, we're not there. So when people are applying this whole, we're gonna go on a run and we're a lot better than this, and putting all this talk on this team, we need to remember who we are. We need to remember what we are. We're not finished yet. We're not there yet. We've had 4, in my opinion, good signings in the summer, but we need like 6, 7, 8 more to even get to a place where we can keep competing. We need our younger players to develop where we can start competing. And I don't know, today just one of those games where I wasn't confident coming in. People saying, oh yeah, it's Spurs. Oh yeah, they've been poor. Oh yeah, it's the year where something's got to give. They can't beat us 5 times in a row. They did it in the end. But
Yeah.
we still had you know what I mean? But we still had a chance to win.
KJ, listen, I echo a lot of what you said, and I think everyone's got a different view on different players in this game. I get the Ugarte stuff. Do you know, I didn't even move on in my mind to Ugarte. Purely, I was still so angry with Bruno and the guys from earlier on in the match. But we actually became slightly better at the attacking when those substitutions were made. So I totally get your point. But I do think by and large, and we've seen it in a lot of our different group chats, and a lot of you boys and Kate are in those group chats. United win a couple of games and people are like, oh, I think this could be something special. And I'm like, we could build something special, but 80% of the squad won't be here. By the time it's called special, there's so much improvement that's needed. There's so many players that are just not good enough. And I don't think that matters who the manager is. I think we could bring in yes, I'm not, because we'll get into that debate again. Yes, there are coaches that I think could make this team play better football and be more consistent. I'm not saying that, but I still think there would still be a ceiling that we'd get to where we'd start moaning and being angry again. How do we know that? Because we've had managers that have made us come second and we've been fuming. So we know that it's not just about being better than this that's going to quench our thirst. And the squad plays a big part in that. There's no doubt about it. Ethan, who do you support, mate?
Yeah, I'm a Spurs fan myself.
Ah, Besha. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. What did you make of Tottenham today, Ethan?
I honestly, from about first 70 minutes, I really thought we were there for the taking. Honestly, I think we had barely any shots on target, let alone shots at all. I think I could be wrong, but I think it took us. Did we have a shot on target in the first half? I'm not sure, but against Chelsea, we had 3 shots the entire game and 1 on target. We've got to shoot to score. I think defensively, Mickey van der Ven with that massive tackle, a few other challenges kept us in the game, maybe a few saves, but I really thought 70 minutes we were there for the taking. When I think the turning point was with the subs, I wasn't very pleased that Xavi was coming off. I thought he was one of our better players today, to be honest with you. Again, in midweek against Copenhagen, I think that's the best I've seen him play, to be honest with you. But I wasn't a massive fan of Tell coming on. Again, I was probably one of those fans that was booing him, but he made the difference. Odebear as well, but yeah, we did bottle it at the end. I'll be honest. We can't score a winner and then 10 men Man United on a corner kick. We've got to defend those better. It's ridiculous to me. So again, overall, I think 2-2 draw, maybe a fair result in the end. But again, I really thought we were there for the taking today. Really poor from most of the game, I'll be honest. But
you probably were there for the taking, but this is the thing, right? You know what Man United like doing? We like giving. We're givers, man. We are definitely the givers. And not the takers in a lot of footballing relationships. I know what Ash knows what I'm talking about there. Just a smile on his face. You know what I mean? And we're awful. We're awful for it. And I agree with you. It was 2 teams that today were so poor. It was unbelievable. And sometimes football pundits do that whole, did United really want it? That's how I felt watching us playing you. It was almost this element of no one willing to take risks, and then when we did, they couldn't execute it. It was just horrendous to me. Ash,
that's what the game lacked, risks. Especially as a Spurs fan, we're lacking taking risks, especially on the attacking front. 90% of our ball game is again just passes along the back 4. We've got no one who, maybe a Maddison because he's injured, is out. We've got no one willing to make that pass into the midfield, that turn, and maybe make a risky ball where sometimes we lose it, but then sometimes we actually get into a good position. Xavi can't do it at the minute because he's clearly not strong enough. Yes, we're seeing glimpses, but the game just lacked risks. And then I think that's why it was so boring on the eye and so poor overall. I'll be honest with you.
The thing is as well, the fact that we've got, I know people say you can't blame injuries, but we've got like 10 first team injuries. I mean, at the end of the game, Ligt come out and said that Man United players were tired. You're playing one game a week. There's no excuse for you guys to be tired.
Did he actually say that?
He has a bad take.
What I will say about
it wasn't saying
So
they
go
were
on.
tired in the sense of they're absolutely battered from training. I think the emotion of the game and in the actual moments they found themselves tiring.
They're professional footballers. They should be used to it.
Well, the athletes. I'm not saying he said it as an excuse, but it's a relevant thing to make up to say. Halfway through a game, you shatter, which means you lose 5 yards, which therefore makes up mistakes. It doesn't mean it's that's the reason we did it. It's a lot harder to perform at your best when you are tired. That's just normal. However, did he say it as an excuse? No. Go and listen to the Go. Well, you can say what you need to say, but go listen to the interview and you'll get the context.
I did. He said maybe we were tired.
The context
but hang on.
The fact you're trying to spin this is mad.
The thing for me is, though, we've had this debate many times on the Football Terrace. I've also heard a lot of professional footballers. I remember Bernardo Silva saying it. Most pro footballers like 2 games a week. They actually find themselves in a better flow of football, and they find themselves less fatigued because it's the training's different. So I remember when United, you got 1 game a week. What I was saying in this, I don't know if that is actually a good thing. You know, there's a lot of teams that become better sides playing 2 games a week, and most professional footballers say they prefer it. So as much as we'll all go, they can't be tired because they're only playing 1 game. There's a lot of footballers that say that physically they prefer 2 games a week. It makes them feel less tired. I don't get the science behind it because that's not what I do, but I'd have to listen to the interview personally.
It's muscle memory. When you're competing at a high volume and it's consistent, you then adapt to that consistency. If you're then going if you're going into a high level of performance and then you're dropping out of it and then you're back into it 7 days a week, it's not consistent. So your body goes into a shock a lot quicker, as opposed to if you've got 3-4 days where you're high competitive and then competitive 4 days, you're always at that optimum 24/7. So 100% understand that. You're obviously going to get tired a lot quicker.
When you spar,
Standard.
do you not get like? For me, when I go into a fight, before I would go into a fight, if I hadn't sparred all week, I'm way more tired. Like my energy is nowhere near the same. So I fully get that. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but I was kind of like, that makes a lot of sense.
You didn't even use it as an excuse. It was just done. It is what it is kind of thing. That's what it is.
But also, what's going to make these Man United players tired, though? It's not even about physical fitness. It's the nervous tension and the negative energy people would use all game. You can see it. We actually got worse when we went 1-0 up. And I was saying to my boy, he's moaning, we look rubbish. I said, because we're shitting our pants. Like this, I'm not going to get technically. I'm going to just talk like a normal human being. We go 1-0 up and we shit ourselves. He's like, fucking hell, we might win. We start panicking. We honestly look like deers in headlights. And that in itself is exhausting. It's exhausting to fucking watch. And I'm not surprised. Equally, they've got to fucking get over that. They really, really do. Ash, what are you here to say, brother?
First of all, I need a comment about that mid-game thing that you were talking about. One, we just knocked you out the EFL Cup, so that's 1 less game you're going to have to play. Second of all, you played your last game midweek against Copenhagen. Brennan Johnson got sent off halfway through the game, so he's been rested, so he barely played. You were 4-0 up. Most of your flipping players came off at 60 minutes. They were just chilling. Like, it's not exactly like you had a tough game to play. So
I wasn't using the excuse that we're tired.
Well, you said
no, it was Ligt.
Yeah, so you just made that.
It was. So that's like a Manchester United.
I'm saying like that can't be an excuse. Like in general, like saying that like because managers and players and everything say that it's because they're tired, and I don't want that to be an excuse going forward because it will be. But so I think my issue that I think Bruno had today was I think he is the best position he has as a 10. And when he went forward, when Ahmed did that big pass forward into the space, and I know he did that shot like on the half volley, and it just went straight over the net. It wasn't on target. I think that's not going to do great for him to be able to put him in that position because obviously Ruben Amorim mustn't think that he should be there. And if he's missing something like that, that's a big chance. It's not going to do good for him to be put in a position like that. And then also, I don't know if something was up with Sesko before this game of why he didn't start, but you can tell when Mbeumo did that pass across the middle of the goal right in the first half, and no one was there at the end of it. Ahmed was just stood at the edge of the box. And if someone was there running in the back post, because obviously Mbeumo would normally
fucking system.
Well, at the same time,
that was a knee-jerk reaction. Apologize. Sorry.
Well, to be honest, at that I remember that pass.
Yeah, he should have shot. Literally, I don't know why he didn't shoot. Like,
he should have either shot or. But the thing is, it normally.
No. The system says he can't shoot there. Computer said no to shoot from there. So yeah, system's fault.
It was a tight angle. If he's going to shoot, it would have been a chip. That's it. If he shoots,
no, but there was.
That's it.
Well, I don't know. I think as a winger, you must always think that someone's going to be running into the back post.
Like, I think he made the right choice to make that pass, but no one was there.
Yeah, but exactly. Like if you watch Ahmed,
rubbish.
Like Ahmed is sprinting up and then just stops his run and just stops at the edge of the box.
That's what happened.
If he carried on running, got to the edge of the post, and if he missed, everyone would have been blaming him and said that was a great pass. Like
maybe it is the system.
Even when he did that pass,
if all else fails, if you can't break football down, just go the system's shit. Just say that. It's like a default thing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You want to sound like you know football? Go, yeah, system, man. In the system, the problem is in the system is that the players don't know the system, and there's not enough repetition in the system. So when there's not enough repetition in the system, the players, they struggle to really express themselves on the pitch because the system is holding them back. That's all I really hear from people nowadays. System.
I don't understand how Sesko and Dorgu are getting let off, though. I can't lie, man. I mean, even Dorgu played well, this, and this. I saw the better big 3 or 4 tackles. The guy is shit. Can we just get it honest? I've been saying this for the past 3-4 games. The reason he got dropped for Dallo is because he's been shit. Then Dallo comes on, he's shit. The reason Dorgu starts again today because he gets a chance to go, okay, Dallo's been shit, so I'm going to start. And he's still the same shit. His touch is horrible. You guys are gassing him up because he does 3 or 4 tackles. His touch is horrible. It led to the yellow card because his touch when he tried to dribble past, who was it, Jed Spence, goes and stands on his foot. His touch is horrific. It's not good enough. He's on the left-hand side taking the ball, and then he loses it in 2 seconds. His touch is horrendous. It's half the reason why we don't get through and our attacks are not left-hand side. It's disgusting. Dallo's no better, don't get me wrong. But those crying about Dallo coming on, saying, oh, Dorgu should never have come off. Of course he should. Because he's shit. If you're being honest, you've got a Luke Shaw, yes, who's probably got half a hamstring, but he's played more minutes than he has in the last season. Put him on the left. He's technically a better player, got a higher level of IQ. He's not as quick, but he's quick enough to do a job to get off the first 5 yards. And I know in tight areas he's going to pick up the ball. It'll be easy. Heaven, you may as well play Heaven at left centre-back. He's not going to be an issue. Makes no sense. And Sesko is the most timid player I've ever seen in my life. I don't know where all this hold-up plays come from. Oh, he's decent at hold-up play. I saw him hold up the ball 2 times, and when it comes to 50-50 or getting challenged, he gets bodied. Then he doesn't chase the ball down, so he drops his and starts running. Now, I know he's a young player, fair play, but again, it's the same situation. He hasn't got the conkers in between his thighs. He hasn't got it. I'll be honest, he hasn't got it. He's not good enough. He's timid. Every time he's on the ball, his touch is timid, ridiculous. I'm sorry, he literally fries off a long ball being over the top so he can get an aerial advantage. That's about it. And when he's not under as much pressure, he's got an opportunity to lay it off. That is it. As a striker, he is too timid.
Is there a reason why
Xerxes never comes number 9? I'll keep it 100 with you, man. He's not good enough. He's not good enough. Xerxes should be starting. Xerxes should be starting.
No, bro. Listen. I've had this whole debate. I had a debate with someone in the group.
It's not even a debate to me. I think
Xerxes completely is so much better than Sesko in every department, which is not true.
It's not.
I never said that.
No, I'm not saying you understand. Someone else said that, and that's not true. But here's the issue. We've seen Xerxes in the Premier League. What was he doing? Like, it's not like Xerxes has been playing phenomenally in the Premier League, and for whatever reason, we just got this new striker. So why would Xerxes never get a chance?
If you have a player, KJ, that is underperforming, you drop the player for another person, give another player a chance. That's standard procedure.
Horrendous. He came on against Brighton and was horrendous. You talking about first touch? Xerxes' first touch can be silky at times, but when it comes out of his feet, he ain't chasing the ball either. He can beat a man with a nutmeg. Cool. Is he bursting past the player? No. Because he's not quick enough.
Is Sesko bursting past players? No one's.
Because
he is. He's just not doing much with the one he has.
They're literally.
It's
he did today.
It's a simple KJ. I think you just overcomplicate because it's Sesko is a new signing.
I'm not overcomplicating it. This is what's funny. It's funny coming from you as well, Mister. Give people time. So, Sesko has been in the league for.
Have I said sell him or did I say drop him?
No. 11. No.
Did I say sell him or drop him?
11 games, yeah.
Did I say sell him or drop him?
Let me land before you come at me.
You're making statements, bro. I'm not having it.
He's been in here for 11 games, yeah.
11 games.
Said he's not good enough. You said he's not good enough.
No, he's not good. What did I say? 11 games. He's not good enough. He's too timid. He's not good enough.
Yeah, listen. You say give people time, right? That's your mantra.
Yeah, and even more specific, I said give people 10 games minimum. 10 games. It's been 11 games, brethren.
Take your 11 games. Yeah, listen. It's been 11 games in
Exactly.
the Premier League. Take your emotion out of it. You're someone who says give people time to adapt. Give them,
And specifically, again, I say 10 games, and I'll give them a judgment. And
10,
I've done that.
10 games. How is 10 games enough to judge a player, but you can't judge a manager of 10 games? What are we doing here? If this was Amorim,
I've been judging the manager.
Pelters.
I've been judging the manager, but you've been
last year. You are the person to come and defend him and say he needs time to get X, Y, and Z. That's fine. I agree.
When did I say that? When did I say that?
When a player,
no, you can't misrepresent me, bro. You can't lie on my name. You can't lie on my name and get the context completely out of the way.
Apparently, 10 games is enough.
That's poor from you. That's poor from you.
He's all
right. Well, I'll respond and I'll give you clarity. When I say you got 10 games as players to go, I'll have an overall judgment. I did it with Gyökeres, even when he was at Arsenal. I said, yo, listen, I don't rate him right now, but I've got to give a player 10 games. Every player should have 10 games at least so that I can have an overall idea to go, is this player decent enough or not? I'm not saying he should be sold. I'm saying he should be dropped.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's not good enough.
Let me land the point.
Sold, selling or benching. You said he's not good enough.
Yeah, he's not good enough.
For me, how can you call a man not good enough in 10 games?
So what you should
give a manager more
So what
time?
you should be asking, KJ, what you should be asking, rather than assuming, you should be going, what do you mean he's not good enough? Not good enough at what? And for what level? What's the punishment for not being good enough? I'm saying drop him. And before I even said that, I said Zirkzee should be coming onto the bench. So that's the metric we're using right now. Zirkzee should be getting an opportunity to come off that bench and say, can you outdo what Sesko's doing? That is a fact. And you're there saying, what did he do against Brighton? And you want to say, oh, I'm giving a man 10 games. I'll give him 11 games, but we're giving Zirkzee a Brighton game. Even though we've seen how Zirkzee can play.
We've seen what we're doing. We had a whole season. He had a whole season last year. We know what he is. I'm not saying he can't be useful. Zirkzee can be useful.
So there you go then.
But you've said...
So you use him then.
No, you've said Sesko's not good enough.
Did you not say... So when he came on against Arsenal... When he came on against Arsenal, you tell me he didn't body Arsenal.
He
did nothing against... Okay, cool. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. He
did
absolutely nothing. Nothing. He did miss Bratty. Zero. Nada. Nothing. Nothing. You chat rubbish. You chatting rubbish, bro. If you want to keep a man on the pitch who is timid, who all can do is hold up a ball, who can't run past the man, who is struggling, and you're telling me you can't be benched for no one, then that's...
I'm not saying you can't be benched.
But then keep
that
same energy for every single player. For me, I want consistency. If you're consistently struggling, come off the bench, take some time out, put another striker on, give him an opportunity.
That's not what I'm arguing, Neji. I'm not arguing that. You said he's not good enough after 11 games.
That is what you're arguing.
No, it's not. No, it's not, because I told you already. You said he's not good enough after 11 games. I'm challenging your point by saying not good enough after 11 games. Saying,
yeah, so
how
bench
is that enough
him.
Time to judge
so
that?
bench him. So that is the point, KJ.
No, but if that's the point, you say just benched him. You don't say he's not good enough. That's two different.
No, I'm giving the reason why you bench him. All right, then. I'll tell you what. Bench him because he's good enough. Makes no sense.
No, you're saying he's not. You're making a statement that he's
so
not good enough.
So if he's not good enough, put him on the bench.
No, you're saying he's not good enough for Man United. Are you not?
I didn't say not for Man United. I said on the bench for the 5th time now. I didn't say sell him, not for Man United. What's wrong with you?
You said no. You said he's not good enough, and I'm challenging that.
Don't put words. I said. I'll tell you what I said verbatim. I said he's not good enough, and the reason I said he's not good enough is because of the touches and he's timid. Yeah. I said he's struggling. Right? Yeah. So for those reasons, put him on the bench and bring Zirkzee and give him an opportunity.
Did I argue? Have I argued him starting or not starting? I haven't argued that. I'm arguing the overall comment.
I didn't say anything about starting. I just said put him on the bench.
To be fair, Deji, when you said he's not good enough, I thought you meant for the team in general too.
I did. It's been 11 games. But if I make it clear, then why are you carrying on? Why is he carrying on saying like for Man United? That means he's
Because
got a
no,
listing
you haven't
problem.
made it clear. You've just made it
Said
clear
the
now.
bench. Oh my
No,
God.
you
Jesus
saying someone
Christ.
should be
Blood
benched
seed.
and not good enough for two
Blood
different
seed,
things.
brethren. I've been saying
They're
the bench
two
for the
different
longest.
things, bro. They're two different
Sesko
things.
didn't start today.
What's different by me saying put the man on the bench and
He
bring
was on the-
Zirkzee on
He
instead?
was on the, and he was
But
on
he
the
was
bench
on the
as well.
bench.
But anyway,
He
that's
was on the
different
bench, to be fair. He's
But
starting
I
the
didn't
bench.
bring Zirkzee on
I'll bring
instead.
Xerxes on.
Yeah, you get. But my main thing.
And you went Zirkzee's only had one game against Brighton. That's what you said.
No, I said he was a horrendous
So
against
what's
Brighton.
do you know what you're doing?
But
What
you're
you're doing?
saying, you're saying bring on Xerxes like it's this
Is that
magical
weird?
thing,
Frederick,
bro.
man, you get me
It's
vexed,
not.
man. I can't lie,
Xerxes
bro. The
ain't been
comprehension
it.
skills, the listening skills are poor. It is
Mine
what
is
it
poor,
man.
bro. You talk a lot,
Yeah,
and
no,
I
it
can
is
hear
what
a
it is.
lot, and I've
Agree
been
to
listening.
disagree, bro. This
All
is
I'm saying is,
ridiculous.
my main point is this.
Yeah,
This is my main
go
point.
on, do your thing, bro.
Sesko being called not good enough after 11 games. I've been saying it for the entire season. Is not fair, because when have
Not
we?
fair to
When
criticize
has this
his touch
started?
or nothing. All right, okay.
When has
Ridiculous.
this started that we give players 10 games, 11 games, and then we've said good enough, not good enough, flop, not flop? Now, Neji, I'm not saying.
Never said
not
flop.
say-
Never
really,
incited it was a
Neji,
flop.
I'm
Just
not
said
saying
he's on the
you
bench.
said the words flop. Stop. Let me finish, please.
I never said that.
You let me finish. I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm not saying you're
All
saying
right,
that.
cool.
But okay. But I'm saying in general, my issue is in football now, players get 10 games, and and that's it. And I don't know
No
where
one
this
said
come
that's
from.
it. Just put him on the bench as normal football, KJ.
No. I've not hit. I've even not said.
normal.
I haven't. Listen, bro. You're not understanding my point clearly. Because
Let me listen again.
When you say you want to talk about emotions, maybe I understand now, because when it does come in, things get twisted in the head. So I can see why you try and take emotions out of it. So listen, Sesko being called not good enough for me is unfair. That's what I challenge. Not that he should be benched, not that he needs time to be rotated, not that he needs to work on certain things. I never said Sesko is a complete package. I never said the issues that he's had today weren't true. I just said, you said he's not good enough. So for me, I'm challenging.
He's not good enough. Okay, so what? So all right. So now I understand. What do you think I mean by not good enough?
Like I said, it sounds like you're saying already. You're labeling him not good enough for Man United.
No. Not what does it sound like?
That's what I think you said. That's what I think you mean. That is what I think you think.
But when I'm telling you what you should know, because I'm giving you context to it, you're not listening to that.
You gave me context for the game.
So why are you thinking that he's not good enough overall then?
Because you didn't. All you said was he wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough today.
That's what you heard.
Not good enough in general.
That's what you heard. That's what
Gentlemen, I'm gonna step in. I'll let you have your say with each other. I get it. Staffy, you all right, mate?
Well, I'm glad that I'm not gonna sound like the most negative person on the panel, because KJ and Neji took care of that. Yeah. Well, thank you. So the comments won't be filled with my name for once. By the way, I agree with Neji for a change. I think he was a little bit harsh, though. I think I kind of get where KJ's coming from, because when he said he doesn't have anything between his thighs, kind of meant like you're just writing him off, basically. But I do get you. I agree with you. This is exactly why I was scared about signing him in the summer. For as much as I backed him, I did initially predict him to flop, and it was because I expected more scenarios like what we're seeing right now, basically the last 2 games. So I actually agree with Neji. I just think he's a little bit over the top by saying he basically doesn't have no balls, but I agree with him.
I just said I'll be honest, Staff. I just said he's timid. That's what I was relating that to. He's
but like the description of what you said, when you said there's nothing between your thighs, that's generally what it
he's
means.
got no conkers between his thighs when he plays, man.
Yeah, so it's like I couldn't say that. What is that, conkers? I don't even know what that means, but
He means he's got no ball bags. He's a eunuch. You know what I mean?
I've never heard that word in my life. You guys say so.
I don't know if you have them in America, bro. Yeah, I don't know if you have them in America, but like the like.
What's the other word you guys use? Bullocks, bullocks, whatever the fuck that means.
Bullocks. He needs bullocks.
You're never gonna catch me saying that.
There's a few words I'll never adopt, and that's another.
Yeah, like I just can't try it, bro. Like
you guys also can't say wanker. Like you guys can't say it. Doesn't sound right from a North American.
Wanker.
Yeah.
But look, man, this is today's a display of what Ruben and Amorim's Manchester United is. We have Neji versus KJ fights. We have Cam just trying to find every positivity in a fact that we didn't lose 2 in a row. Where realistically we should have lost.
I haven't got even into my positive bag yet.
It's okay. You're a positive guy. I give you your credit. You're a glass half full guy. I'm the dickhead who usually looks at the glass half empty, and this is like who I am. I like to, as I said, I like to swim in the swamp of reality, and right now reality is a little bit of a swamp. I just couldn't believe. The one thing that I found very jarring is the bit that I listened to from Terry. I'm so sick of this guy sitting here, and he's like, "What's to say that you diagnose the symptoms and not the cause?" I'm tired of listening, and I've only listened to like 5 minutes of that, and I couldn't believe it no more. Honestly, bro, like, can I just read some stats to you guys so I can at least like you can get where my argument is coming from? All right. Forget who we were playing against today. We know it was Spurs. We know the quad that they put on the pitch. I mean, already Kate has told us. One team today had the majority of possession, 56% possession. They had 10 shots to our 5. By the way, we had 2 shots on target and we scored 2 goals. So our only 2 shots on target with 2 goals. They had 64 entries in our final third.
10 minutes, though, Staffy. How many of those shots?
Let me just finish the stats. They had 64 entries in our final third. We had 38 entries in their third. One team, now I'm just going to ask you guys for your judgment in general. These are the names I'm going to give you. One team had Ahmad, Bruno, Cunha, Mbuemo, and Sesko share the pitch. And one team had Richarlison, Brennan Johnson, Tell, Odebert, and I guess let's just put Xavi Simons in it. Now, if I would have gave you these stats before you watched the game, let's just pretend you've never watched the game, and I gave you these stats, and I would have said, just based on your assumption, which team you think had the positive stats and which team had the lesser stats. I'm pretty sure everyone here, including Kate, I'm sorry, my brother, the Spurs fan, it's my first time I see you. I think you guys would have all assumed that the other team, aka United, with the names that I just named, would have had these stats, but that's not the reality. And it's because, once again, as I'm saying, we're diagnosing the symptoms, not the cause. When you joke about it's a system issue, Terry, ironically, your only correct take, you did it as a joke. It is the system. When Ash is talking about Mbuemo crossing the ball and there's no striker, well, it's not a system, I guess, but it's a selection, right? Who approached the game by not putting in a striker, but putting in a fullback? I look at this Spurs team, and I'm speaking to a lot of Spurs fans. I've been watching Spurs content. I have Twitter. I have YouTube. I see what everyone is saying. They are not happy about their team. They're not happy about Richarlison. They're not happy about the approach. They're not happy. There's so many things they're frustrated about. They literally booed some of their players last week. You had their players falling out after the game. They're frustrated with the approach of how they play football. They had some of them saying, I'd rather be 17th with Ainge and play attacking football than to do this. That's how far some Spurs have went. Yet we went today and the manager decided, you know what? I'm playing a team that has a left side of Richarlison and Jet Spence. You know what's a great idea? Let me take out my great relationship between Mbuemo and Ahmad that's been cooking every game on the right, and let's put a fullback. Why would you put a fullback against a team that we know is not good on the ball? Kate could have told you that for free. If you asked Kate before the game, do you think you guys are going to be brilliant on the ball? She would have said, fuck no. We might play in moments. We might create something out of nothing, but there's no sustainability. These guys broke a record against Aston Villa between Palhinha and what's his name, the Uruguayan guy, Bentancur. They broke a record for the amount of sideways passes made in a single game. These guys don't like to pass forward. They get a nosebleed. That's like me sitting in the last section in MSG. I can't see shit. My nose bleeds because I'm way too high up the pitch. That's what they do. They hate attacking. So what did we do? We approached the game with 2 fullbacks and wingbacks. And then we sit here and pretend, oh my God, why are we not attacking as much? Why are we not creating as much? If my system is enabling 5 attackers that I just named to get collectively 2 shots on target, forget if you like Bruno or not, forget if you like Cunha or not, forget if you like Mbuemo or not, forget if Sesko shit, forget all that stuff. Those 5 alone should be combining for more than 5 shots per target per game. One of these shots being the Ligt is actually embarrassing because it came from a set piece. Something, by the way, that we criticize Arsenal for every week. That's a set piece that saved us 3 weeks in a row right now, or I should say 2 weeks in a row, because we scored off the Ahmad rebound from a set piece, and then the Ligt scored that. It's just not good enough. The approach of the game is too cowardly for my liking. Now, I don't want to do any overarching statements or just be hyperbolic about anything, but any manager who's been looking at Spurs and seeing the way they've been playing football should have had a lot more, what's the word again? Bollocks or whatever, should have had a lot more of that than what we had today. This Chelsea team, by the way, last week, with a horrendous backline that we mock every week, they held them to a lower XG than we did. But we get surprised every week when we concede. By the way, we conceded to probably the worst combo in the league. If I would have told anyone, all 19 teams, Richarlison and Tell is going to score against you, I swear to God, I'd bury my head in the sand like I'm an ostrich. I'd be so embarrassed. The worst combo in the league, we didn't get hit by Kobe and Shaq. We got hit by Tell and Richarlison. That's the worst combo that can hit you for a 1-2 piece. And we're sitting here, we're not talking about the system. It is not acceptable.
I'm surprised you haven't talked about your boy Ugarte. Staffy, your hate for the man, which I get.
Staffy, hang on, guys. Sorry, Cam. I'm going to just step back in for a minute because obviously you come out here and you were absolutely disgustingly rude to me. I'm not really angry, by the way. I'm just laughing. That's a joke.
I mixed straight facts yesterday, so I had to take out a little bit.
Yeah, no, I get it. And you can have a pop and you do the whole symptoms and not the cause thing. And there is an element of truth in that. The ironic thing is the real reason that you're someone that when we actually talk about the real reason that Man United are as bad as we are, you don't like us deflecting back to the past and the progression down to the actual root cause. So when you're someone who goes on about symptoms and not the cause, whenever I bring up the true cause that Man United are where we are, it's no. They speak about the manager, which is still a symptom because he was picked by the people that run the club. But let's put that aside. It's not incorrect. You literally said it on the stream. But let me. And I know
to us not winning leagues, not to us into games. That's why me and you always argue.
So yes, but the root cause to why we are where we really are, you don't always like talking about. But let's park that because for me, there are elements of truth in what you're saying. I didn't like some of the subs today, as an example. I was actually a few people have messaged me, the friends of mine during the show, saying actually, I felt there's too many changes before the game begun, actually, and not enough continuity. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't really think about that because not everybody thinks about all the same things. That's a really fair point. And I think Amorim can get criticism. The issue for me is this, though, when people talk about the system. United have barely been scoring goals in the league for the past 3 seasons. Last year, it was 46. The year before that, it was 57. The year before that, it was 58, even when we came third in the league. We've been one of the lowest scoring big clubs in Europe at a league level for many years, where this season we are moving towards and tracking towards our highest goal scoring season for a while, at over 70 goals in the season. So when I think about the system, the XG is there, the attacks are there in the games, and we actually are now scoring more goals than we have done for at least the last 3 years. But what I do look at, and I'm criticizing these players for, is their execution. And I think there are elements of the system that I know for a fact this year I've criticized. Yes, I didn't do it on this match reaction because I'm talking about this game more so in isolation than anything else. But when I see Cunha on 4, 5, 6 occasions run into a crowd of players, I don't care what the system is. I don't care who the manager is.
Well,
I'm blaming the player. No. Hang on. Let me finish. I didn't interrupt you. I don't care. I look at the execution from the individual. When Paul Pogba played for us, I didn't care who our manager was, or who our system was, or whether McTominay was next to him. When he'd drop his shoulder, open his body up, and make a 5-yard pass, and it went out for a throw, I criticized him for it. Those types of mistakes, those brain dead moments, especially from our talented players, I don't care who the manager is. I don't care what the system is. Those types of players will make those mistakes under whatever system, whatever manager they're in. Bruno, yes, we don't like him deep. And today was one of the worst days I've ever seen for grenade ball. But we know that Bruno Fernandes has been criticized for a grenade ball under 3 or 4 different managers. So therefore, do I think if a new guy came in, and I literally said in my monologue, that we could change the manager and maybe become a more consistent team. But there are still issues with Maguire. There are still issues with Shaw. There are still issues with Ugarte that I know you don't like. There are still issues with Bruno Fernandes. There are still issues with our players that we know are going to be there with the next manager because they've been there for the previous ones. So I just took some time today to talk about some of the issues with players. Because if in certain scenarios today we made better decisions, we played better passes, we were stronger on the ball, because we spent a whole section talking about Sesko being bad and saying he needs to have a little bit more about him on the pitch and be a little bit more aggressive. The system doesn't stop him from being more aggressive. I don't think the training is to make him less, the idea of the training isn't to make his ball shrink and make him less aggressive. There are things that individual players can still do better irrespective of the system. Because we see it with Spurs. We're sitting here criticizing Spurs, but the issues they have with certain players were there with the previous manager. Like Richarlison's issues are not because Thomas Frank's the manager. Those Richarlison issues have been there the whole time. And I think we do this a lot. And I think, I'll finish on this by saying this. There are things that Amorim has done wrong. And I've sat in myself on multiple shows, match reactions, and said he deserves to be criticized. He hasn't improved us enough. Okay. And I'm on record as saying it. I've criticised his subs this year. I've criticised approaches in games. I've criticised when he makes changes at the back when he doesn't need to. But what I'll stand on, and I know we had a big debate about this before, I am not going to not criticise players for making what I believe to be horrendous mistakes for professionals, absolute ridiculous decisions. And I know we need better midfielders that hold on to the ball better. But there were times today where we gave the ball away. Well, I don't think you need Pedri. I don't think you need Mainu. I think an average professional football player should be making better decisions and playing better passes. And I think what we sometimes do is we allow these players to get out by purely focusing on the manager and the training. And I just think that's too far in one direction. So I think there are multiple things that are still wrong with this club, multiple things that are still wrong with this football team, and I'm not just going to focus on one of them because it's the most fashionable thing to do. I won't do it.
No, it's not the most fashionable thing to do. But here's the issue: you go on this long monologue, and there's so many things that I want to challenge, and then we don't get to challenge all of it because you speak for about 10 minutes. So I can't address everything that you just said. No, it just happens every time, bro. And I'm too tired to even get angry. I've been up for way too many hours. I can't wait to go back to bed. I need a nap before I continue my day. All the things that you said, yeah, of course, in theory, is not right. No one ever said you can't sit in a game and not criticize a player for a bad decision. Of course, Sesko, I think it was horrible not to hit that first time. I think someone needs to sit him there, put him in a room, and just make him study like Robin van Persie footage. You'll see how many times Robin van Persie, that knew he didn't have time on the ball, would just slap a ball first time, and he just gets a shot on target if he scores. That all comes with development. I still think he has enough fundamentals to become better. But I can easily look at you and say, well, my striker had one chance today. What good functioning team creates one chance for their striker? What good functioning team just create what? We had one big chance today, technically. I think it was the Mbeumo goal. Honestly, you even look at the Mbeumo goal, I don't see what about that goal that was kind of like a pattern of play or something that I see that we can repeat. You want to criticize the things that the players get wrong? Sure, there's a lot to criticize. Equally, I can look at since the Liverpool game until today, and I can name you how many things I think they got right for us to leave him with this amount of points. If Ahmad doesn't hit the ball first time last week as good as he did, we don't leave with a point. If Bruno doesn't make a scintillating first time cross to Maguire, who's very good in the air and heads the ball and he scores, we don't leave with the 3 points from infield. So I could do that again. My issue is that I look at some of the things that we do and I felt like I learned nothing. When we won those 3 games, the only game that I felt like there was a lot of repetition in how we won that game was the Brighton game, because we generate chances. And how many times do I say this on Straight Facts? We generate chances from winning the ball high up the pitch. The issue is what happens when you play a team that is not as easy to outmuscle like Brighton were and like Liverpool were. And that was my main worry about Forest, and it was my main worry about Spurs. 2 teams that are good physically, that you're not going to dominate on 50-50s, you're going to struggle to generate any chances. And that's exactly what happened. We are a team, and I'm going to keep repeating this every week until the cows come back home. Every week, we generate chances through winning the ball. We don't have patterns of play and build-up. Go watch the first half today. It was one of the most boring build-up from both teams, by the way. They passed wide, back to the middle. Then they tried the other side, and then packed in the middle, and then the other side again. And then when they give up, either Lamont kicks it forward or Casemiro tries to take a risk because he's probably the only one that has balls to do something. I can't get angry at Casemiro when he kicks the ball forward and no one is there, because there's no other way for us to create something. Every week, I see the same thing. When we play these type of teams, I'm always going to have my reserves. I'm going to have these reserves against Everton, and I'm going to have these reserves against Palace. I just simply don't believe in a manager who thinks he can come into the Premier League and not prioritize any central build-up or actually any ball possession. When we talk about, you were talking about when we go through these moments where like 5-10 minutes, we lose our heads and we don't know what's happening. Forrest last week scored 2 against us in 5 minutes. This week, not this week, today, Spurs scored 2 against us in 10 minutes. It's not a coincidence. The reason it happens time and time again is because when we can't defend well, we can't even rely on, like, you know what? We're a team that when the minute we get the ball, we're going to hold some possession. We're going to have like 5-10 minutes to breathe. We don't. We just lose the ball too quick. People are getting angry at Bruno, getting angry at Lamont. The reason I didn't mention any individuals, which came to Cam's surprise, It's because I know it's instructions. I'm not even mad at Bruno for kicking the ball forward.
Can I
Can
just interject for a minute? I want to interject for a moment on this because there are elements of truth to that, because sometimes it is an instruction. The long balls from the goalkeeper we know are. But there was a time in the first half, we're 1-0 up, there's 3 minutes before half time. We've got a throw in about halfway up the pitch on if you're watching on the television, it'd be the top side. The ball's thrown to Bruno. He's got Casemiro next to him. He's got centre backs to his right. He's got Cunha just ahead of him. Ball gets thrown to him. I don't believe this is a full-on instruction. He just turned around. First thing, he just boots it with a volley right down the other end. Now, I look at that, again, and you go back and watch the footage, you see Ruben Amorim do this. Put his arms down. That's when I look at it and go, that's not the manager's instruction. So for me, I look at these things and I go, definitely there are times to criticize the manager, there's no doubt. But there are also times where I look at the players and they're doing things that are so simple and I don't even think that hard wrong. There were times today where we lost the ball and it had nothing to do with the system. It was a really bad heavy first touch. It was taking the ball. There was a few times where Dorgu did this today, a few times where he kind of sort of looks like he's going to try and shadow the ball, but there isn't enough on the ball to run out of play. Then he has to cut back inside and he's been trapped by the press already. So he's got to knock it long. If he just knocks the ball back first time to the goalkeeper, we can switch the play and go to the right-hand side. I don't think that's an instruction. I think that's a decision from the player, and I'll call it out for what it is. And it's about the balance here. And I think as the United fans, the one thing I've noticed is this: those collapses we have in games, Ruben Amorim hasn't been able to make us stop doing that, and I'll criticize him for it. What I won't do is get lost in the euphoria again of the manager out nonsense, because I remember us collapsing like this for previous managers, even when the squad looked different, because this is learnt behavior. There is learnt behavior that I believe goes on from squad to squad.
Collapsing. That's where me and you disagree. I don't think it's a mental collapse. Is the fact that we invite mental collapse, yes, to us, and we're okay with it. I think we have mental collapses as well. We did it a lot last season. You're a smart man. You're smart. You understand your numbers. If I give you the ball more than me, let's say me and you are playing 1v1 right now, and I'm willingly letting Terry have the ball for large parts. So Terry's going to have let's say a ratio 60-40. What does probabilities tell you? Who is more likely to score a goal if you're going to have the ball more than me? Forget an ability. Just probabilities alone, if Terry has the ball more, it's more likely that he's going to score the ball against me.
No,
this is what we do in large parts of the game.
Hang on. It depends who's better on the ball and how good I am at defending. If I'm
hang on, today and they scored, and he's not going on the ball. What does that mean?
Again, hang on. We're not talking about your example wasn't about Spurs. Your example was about me and you. If I'm
just saying, like, probabilities.
Hang on. But no, probability is based on what you're facing. Again, at the end of the day, if you're asking me and you, if I'm better at defending than you are at attacking, and I've got a better touch on the ball, you might have 60% of a ball in a one-on-one game in a cage against me. It doesn't mean you're going to beat me. It's all about, again, I'm talking in generals here, not about today's game specifically. And of course, some of it is ability. Of course, some of the times we collapse its system. But for me, the fact we so regularly in the last 2 years have conceded 2 goals in such short spaces of time, I don't think that's, especially in games where we've barely conceded opportunities to 70 minutes and then bang, bang, really quick. That for me is more about the way we react to adversity. And a lot of people have never played sports at a high level. And maybe I'm biased towards this train of thought because of what I did as an athlete. So much of what happens is in your head, as opposed to training, coaching, technical ability. And once you get into like a bad habit and bad behavior, it's very hard to get yourself out of it when you face those moments, you know. And I think Mike Tyson spoke about this most perfectly. He's saying is what I would go to is everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face and it goes out the window. And so much of that goes on. And the very best teams in the world ever, where it doesn't matter what their system is, who their manager was, possession, counter, mixture of the two, like Man United were. The mentality of a team and its ability to handle adversity also must get spoken. It's also a massive area.
Last 2 games, and we still found a way to come back.
No,
I'm sorry, it's not a mentality when I look at my team and I'm like, we're down, and we still came back.
Okay, well, I disagree with you. I think
it's a mix of both, though. I think it's a mix of both.
It's a multifaceted thing.
I truly think it's a mix.
It is, but I just don't think it's just like as easy as to blame mentality. We're in
Staffy, but no one is, but nobody is. So this is the point I'm making. You're right. Sorry, Cam, I'll go to you next. You're right, Staffy. It is not just mentality. I am not blaming just mentality, but I think Cal said it right. It is a combination of things, which is why it depends on when you watch me. Because
I think there's a
sometimes
bigger issue.
I don't think it's mentality at all. I'm giving it 0 on mentality. That's where I'm disagreeing with you. I don't think the mentality is
I think it's a mix of both.
panel disagrees.
I blame.
I'm gonna plagiarize. Real quick. I just realized my mic is over here. Holy shit, my mic. Can you guys hear me better now?
I was about to tell you, bro. I'm not like you sound so jarring.
My
You're
mic was
so
like
far. Like, be a professional.
My mic was behind me. So anyway, I think it's a mix of both, and I'm going to bring some positivity to this a bit. I'm actually going to plagiarize Neek. So I wanted to ask him that. Like, so he went on a bit of a tangent, like about how we are a top 6 team, and that's where we're at. And I think we're a top 6 team. I think KJ's still in his doomsday world right now. I don't think we are a top 10 team at this stage. I think we're a top 6 team, and I think we're seeing
top 6.
Yes, but a top 6 team, you're going to see these types of performances throughout the whole year. This is what we're going to see now. We're going to have strings of games where we're good, and then we're going to have strings of games where we're really mediocre. Luckily, the one thing that I think a lot of people aren't talking about is strength of schedule, which I've harped on multiple times, which is extremely important in sports, especially sports where the leagues matter in what you do throughout a league. Strength of schedule right now, you look at United's strength of schedule, it's actually been ridiculous. We've actually had a really hard strength of schedule, and coming out of it where we're at this stage means we are probably more likely, if we continue to pick points in the games that we're supposed to and drop points or get draws, like a draw away from home at Tottenham is like, at the start of the season, isn't a game you go, oh, well, that's a game that I 100% want to win. Yes, you want to win it, but you are happy with the draw. If we lost today, I'd be a lot more upset. I'm not going to lie to you. At the end of the day, over the course of the season, our lack of talent, the players and the mentality, plus the fact that now I'm going to give Staffy some props here, plus the fact that we do play with a 2-man midfield, which does invite pressure onto us, which does agree. We are more likely to have moments where we are under duress. Because this is another argument I had in the group chat today where it's like, oh, we made defensive changes. It's like, no, we didn't make defensive changes. We made changes. And just the way we set up allows pressure to be brought onto us, no matter who the team is. It does not matter who we play, because we play with the 2-man midfield and we do not have an all-action midfielder beside Bruno, like a Baliba, and because we do not have a Manu and a Baliba pairing, like those types of players together, we are always, for the rest of this season, going to see these types of games. That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. Agree. We can't just go so hard on it's the manager's system or it's the players, because it is both right now. Until the manager gets like all the players he needs to make this fully work, it's going to be a problem. And even when he gets those players, we're still going to have these moments in games, guys. We're still going to have it because we play a 2-man midfield. That's
the difference is, Cam. The difference is, I don't think it will work even with the players.
No. So I think it will. Staffy, I think it will. And this is why I think this is where the balance has to come in, because I think we've seen enough from our attacking. As Terry said, we've scored more goals, 18 goals. Us, 18 goals, Arsenal. We're scoring goals. We are creating more. We are seeing how the patterns could work, but we're also seeing the deficiencies where, and Ahmad doesn't know when to make the run, or we don't have a striker there. We're seeing these things happen because, again, our player profiles aren't perfect yet, and it's going to take time to get there. So I cannot go hard on the manager or the players in a game like this. I think it's a calamity of all those things coming together. I will say there are some positive things we can say from it. Like, one thing that is really, listen, if we didn't have Lemens in goal today, this game is over. That's one thing we can all say. That is one thing that completely, no one's talked about him yet, and I'm going to talk about him. Without that keeper today, the game's over. Game's done. We're back to the days of like, oh, well, we have no chance. So at least we can say moving forward, we have started to fix some of our problems. But
as he saved 2 shots, and they were both in the middle of the goal.
Onana lets up one of those shots. Onana lets those.
Hang on, the Lemaine's goal. Hang on. Sorry, the first save from Romero's shot, he had to move his body towards the ball. That was a very good save, Ash. Come on, if Nick Pope did that, Ash, Ash, if Nick Pope did that, you'd get your wank sock out and go.
It's not fair. Because what you're doing is you're saying Lemens is the reason that you guys didn't lose more. The fact is, you didn't. You are having complete problems in your team that I could give every single one of you right here a list to write me who you think the starting 11 is going to be for Man United. Every single one of you is going to give me a different person in a different role.
Not Lemens.
Exactly.
Sure.
Well, the point was.
Sorry, I'm going to go to Cal next, Ash. But to that point, You're right about that. But what's that got to do with not praising a goalie for making some good saves?
No, because right. So what I'm saying is right. So yes. So technically he's done 2 good saves.
Don't
But
praise him.
as I'm getting on, as I was going to say, you've got to remember the goals that you guys should have scored on the other end. Even if he let say one of those 2 saves in, you guys should have scored more than
Ash,
more
that
than.
wasn't my point though. Ash, my point is in the past we had 2 keepers who would have gone with their hands and not their legs. That ball would have gone underneath and game done. The other one that you said was such an easy straight at him. I'm sorry, you can't praise a Courtois for saving shots that were blasted straight at him and be like, because at the end of the day, the pace of a ball coming at you, the reaction time you still need to have to make the saves is important. And we watched 2 keepers before we had Lament not be able to do that.
My issue that I've got. Sorry, I just need to say this. My issue that I've got is you said that it's nothing to do with the manager and players, but it is. The problem is,
no, I said it is. I said it's a combination.
If I said to every single person here, if I said no, but I'm saying is you need to like completely focus on because you don't blame the players right now. Blame what the manager's doing, because if I would want my players to do better, I would be saying I want a similar team every single time, so they can automatically put balls into certain places because they know someone's going to be there. If Ahmed right now is running down a wing, he doesn't even know flipping which wing he's going to be starting on.
Look, it's a fair criticism for today, but most of this season we've kind of known who's going to start again. But hang on a minute, hang on, just hang on a minute, Ash. Just wait. Most of this season, the majority of our team, we've kind of all expected it. Today was a bit of a curveball. I think all United fans, we could probably all agree on something. We probably all saw that starting lineup and went, oh, we weren't maybe expecting that. But by and large, we know who's in goal now. We know that Ligt starts the games. You know, Luke Shaw starts the games. Casemiro and Bruno are in the middle. We know Mbumia and Cunha start. We know Ahmad starts. That's 8 of our 11 players that we pretty much know are starting every single game, and by and large they play in the same area.
No, but he's actually not right. One game Ahmed is on the right, one game is in the 10. One day Cunha is starting up front, and if we change Sesko, one time we put in Mount, one time we put in Mazraoui. The left-hand side is dead. I don't care. It's Dumb and Dumber. Pick between them. They're both worse than each other. Dallo and Dorgu. Honestly, doesn't bother me. So he is technically right, because the front 3, yeah, you named the personnel, but the roles on the pitch change. Go look at I think it was Liverpool.
It hasn't changed that regular. Like, Ahmad, hang on a minute. We spoke about this in the summer. We spoke about this in the summer, and everyone's like, and this is where I find these conversations so interesting. One of the criticisms that Amorim was getting was, well, when are we going to start seeing Ahmad playing his best position in the kind of 10 winger role? Why is he always playing wing back?
He then gets a game on the right, him and Mbeumo. Who cares?
I know he. Hang on, I know he has, but then he gets. This is what I mean, but you can't please all of the people all the time. Some people have criticized that he doesn't get to play in his best position, and then today he was, and you'll get a different group say, well, you're never going to get continuity as a team.
He should have stuck with Mbeumo and Ahmad on the right.
But by and large,
if he started Ahmad on the right, would we all have been more confident?
No, hang on. But again, you didn't hear what I just said. I said I'm talking in general.
About last season, bro. We've seen in the last few games, Ahmad and Mbeumo are cooking. Why change something that's not broken?
I didn't disagree.
That's not broken.
Oh my days! I didn't say that he should have made those changes today.
I'm not saying you said that. I'm saying he did that.
By and large, what we have seen is that whatever he does, there's going to be criticism. Some people is what I was trying to get to. I didn't say you, so maybe I should specify at the beginning.
I know you didn't. It's okay.
I'm not going to say it's you two, but some people have criticized Amorim. Some people that want Amorim out, their reason is because Ahmad's always not playing in his best role, as an example. Some people like we're too rigid. We've got to have a little bit more. What's the word they use? He's got to adapt a bit more and try some different things. And we don't do anything different, and our opponents don't always know what we're going to do, and we become more predictable. He then makes changes. I wouldn't have done them. And then it's a different group that are going to complain. And that's where sometimes I do look at players though in their individual roles and say, you could have done a better job, because the first goal we scored, yes, there was a bad clearance from a pass really from Sarr, and the clearance was bad. But then the crosses back into the box were good. That was the one good thing Cunha did in the whole game, was when the ball got played into him, the pass back and the run that he made took a player with him. The cross from Ahmad was brilliant. And I still want to see more from these individual players. I want to see him pull off excellent things. And then Mbeumo was the only guy today who was consistently doing good things in the attack. And that's why I don't just blame the system. I also look at the quality of a player and the individual performance. Because if Ahmad overall today and Cunha overall today were as consistent to their own levels as Mbeumo was, I think we'd have created more chances to score. And that's why I think it's a balance between the two things. I agree that I wouldn't have undone Ahmad and Mbeumo on the right. I like how that looks. But by and large, the same 7 or 8 players have started the majority of games this year. The majority of the time, we know where everybody's going to play. Today was a bit of a curveball. But the issue that Amorim's got, if we're going to be honest about the criticism of him, if people don't like him, they look for new things to go about. I've seen people moan that Ahmad's not been playing in that position because they don't like Ruben Amorim. You'll get others that will then moan when he changes it. When people don't like a manager, everything they end up doing ends up being wrong. Was all the only point I was trying to make.
You said all that just to say you agree he shouldn't have changed it. So all this was for nothing.
I think it's just
take it down like, hey, listen, let me defend Ruben Amorim a little bit, but then I didn't agree. It's not about defending. You go on these monologues all the time, bro. Like,
I can do whatever I want. Staffy, I can do whatever I want on my channel, bruv.
Of course, you can do whatever you want, and I'm going to challenge it.
Well, challenge what though?
You're just doing all that, and you still agreed it was the wrong decision anyway. So what was the point of saying that?
Because we're talking about balance. We're talking about balance in here, my friend. Just because I wouldn't have done what Amorim did doesn't mean I can't see why it was done. Doesn't mean I won't call out people that will attack him for not doing it. We're talking about things here. I don't understand.
And it was wrong. Just say it for what it is. It's wrong, bro. It was wrong that he did that. Why can't we just say that?
Staffy, because that's just basic conversations, bro.
Yeah, you can say something's wrong. No, but you can say
something wrong.
You can say something's wrong without it being, oh, you don't understand. Like Terry just laid out why he did it. He understood why he did it.
His reason understanding is because people would have complained either way. Who gives a fuck? You had a right wing has been working for you. Won 3 of your last 4 games.
Well, I care, but I care. Snappy, but I care. But I care about that.
Are we being for real?
I'll tell you what we're doing here. I care about it. So that's why I said it. And that's it. And I don't care if you don't care about it. You can challenge me all you want.
Care for? I'm sorry, just to understand your point.
But you don't understand.
No, you said you care for what?
I care about the conversation from both sides. So for me, my point is this. People that don't like Ruben Amorim, they will look for whatever reason they can to attack him. Whether he's right, whether he's wrong, he's always going to have people go at him. That was the point I was making. The reason it was hard to get to that point is because every time I started talking, you start interjecting because you're very angry today, Staffy. That's what it is. You're very emotional. And now you are. You've come onto the show. You've been very disrespectful. You've been very rude. And it's fine. I get it. United have lost. We basically lost today. We're in a bad mood and you don't like it. But
you can call it the cry thing that you can play for me.
You can call it out all you want, but my response honestly back to you is I'm never going to change how I talk about football, how I host shows, and how I do things. So you can complain about it regularly, but it won't change, Staffy. I just need to let you know that.
I didn't tell you to change.
Well, you said you challenge people because you think they're wrong. I'm just letting you know. Challenge me all you want. I will never change how I do things.
That's fine. That's fair. That's why we have these debates.
Exactly. Let's go to these super chats here because I don't want to disrespect the audience who have sent these in. This here says complaining about not keeping possession with a backline of Ligt, Maguire, and Shaw is absolutely insane, is what Garrett says here.
I mean,
yeah,
but that's not the reason why we don't keep possession, and we don't like that. We want to be able to keep possession. Yeah.
Like I said,
last episode of Staffy.
Possession is always it's an interesting one because say if the other team has possession but you press really high and push them back, they've still got possession but it's in their half, and if you then take the ball off them at that time, you've got a better chance to score. So it's all about where they have the possession. So I think it's important to talk about
what you do with that possession. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
We've seen Jose Mourinho's Chelsea, have low possession, one shot, go and win the league. So it doesn't necessarily mean if you have more possession that you manage to do more on a pitch. It gives you more of a higher chance to score in the sense of you're in control of the ball. But just because you're in control of the ball doesn't mean you're in control of the game. And I think that's the conversation.
This here says what we are saying is plan A isn't working. What is plan B? Like having a question for you, Terry, or anybody on the panel. Name me a game where Ruben adjusted and critically won us the game. The home, I don't remember who we played, home game in the Europa League last season. He inverted the fullback and made the 10 go out wide in the second half, which was different to the first half. We went on to win the game. That's what. If you want me to name one, that's one that I've prepared for. But I don't disagree with any of that. Staffy, can I ask a question? I'm going to agree with the super chat, but then make a point that's hypothetical from the other direction for balance. Are you okay with me doing that, Staffy?
On the Football Terrace, you could do that. Yeah, it's your channel.
Not on Staffy's channel, though. If you're on Staffy's channel, you're not allowed to have.
Never apply hypothetical balance to show you see it from both sides in the presence of Staffy, because it gets very.
Call me dictator Staffy on my channel.
I didn't use those words, but to your point, I understand, and I don't think he has a plan B, and I think that's really fair criticism. But him not having a plan B, and this is a bit that I will never yield from, and this isn't defending Ruben Amorim in any way, shape, or form. But again, if you've got a hard on for Amorim to go, then you'll see it that way, and it'll make you emotional. I don't care if he's got a plan B when it comes to players giving away simple passes. Cunha's touch being bad. Cunha running into a crowd of players when there's options that are free on the left-hand side. I don't care if there's a plan A, plan B, plan C. That individually, I will always criticize irrespective. And I'm never going to change my mind about that, ever. This here says Staffy is spot on. All United need is two really physical players like Belieber in midfield and one of the fullbacks, which makes the build. Well, that isn't what Staffy said. Staffy.
That's actually not what I said.
No, there's no disrespect. Staffy said even with that it won't work. So you actually disagree with Staffy is the point being made there. Staffy, am I allowed to disagree with the super chat even though he agrees with you?
It says it agrees with me, so you have to.
So I've got to accept that one. Okay, cool. I watched the game against Notts County that are over 21s won, and I can assure you any one of Devaney, Fitzgerald and Tyler Fletcher could add more solidity and energy into as our CMs. Bruno's lethargy is so frustrating.
Is Tyler Fletcher Jack Fletcher's brother?
Yeah, they're twins.
Yeah, they're twins. But this is Staffy. Do I have your permission to say what I'm about to say? Because I agree with a point somebody made, but it shows you can't please everybody all the time. Are you okay with me making my next point?
Is it a super chat?
It isn't a super chat. It's just a general point, but it's connected to this super chat. Is that okay, Staffy?
I'll have to see it first.
Okay, well, I'll make the point, and then you can tell me if I should or shouldn't have said it. So obviously we saw Jack Fletcher go on the bench today, which a lot of people liked, but there's still people moaning. Or the Amorim out was like, fuck's sake, you picked the wrong Fletcher. It should have been Tyler Fletcher. Although I would have picked Tyler Fletcher, the moaning was crazy. Sorry, Staffy, I know that's triggering for you, my friend. 10 games thing started with the Arteta outers. Trust the process was a meme, and no fan is allowed to be patient. Every team needs to be the final product.
I'm going to push back on that. I think that's nonsense.
I need to say this. This was said before during me and Neji's discussion. So yeah, like to be fair to Neji, your main point was today Sesko weren't good enough, and that's fair enough. I can't argue with that.
I'll be even more honest and just say it was in general, since I've been watching him play, I feel like he's very timid and weak. There'd be justifiable reasons for that, which is fine, but I do believe that he should hold bench and Zirkzee should see more time at this present time.
Okay, my main thing was I think it's too early. I'm not saying he can't be benched, but I think it's too early to say he's not good enough or whatever in 10 games. But people are free to say as they please. No, that's all it is.
Okay, I've got to respond, but it's the understanding of, am I saying he is not good enough overall, or have I criticized specific things that I don't like, which is the reason he should be dropped? And I feel I've made that very clear. I think he's timid. I think he's weak.
Wait, was this super chat about Sesko?
And I don't believe he's actually been on this. I don't believe he's been in a situation where he's been able to impact the game. For that reason, he should be dropped. Does not mean I've written him off. I'm saying there are key parts to his game that I do not like, and those are specific enough for me to say he needs to be dropped for Zirkzee. And that's it.
Which I'm saying, cool. That's what I'm saying, cool.
Excuse me.
Can I chime in with my observations?
Yeah, just very quick, because I'm about 25 minutes late for dinner. So very as quick as you can, mate. Sorry.
Oh, shit,
okay. It looks like we've talked already about the playing Mbeumo on one side and Ahmad on the other side. It's fine. It was fine for the first half, but I thought what's worked all season was both of them on the same side, and it looks like Amorim just almost intentionally damaged the synergy that we had going on there. So I didn't understand that. That's the first one. Second point, it's going to make people upset, people angry. I've had a thing with Cunha for a while now. So
no, stop. Staffy, he's going to say something negative about a player that might be perceived as defending the manager. Is he okay to say it?
Well, allow it just this time because he's new on the channel.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I have to stop you, Mr. Bond, because Staffy gets into his menstrual cycle when people were perceived to be defending the manager. So I wanted to check. Go on. Sorry, back to you, Mr. Bond.
That's why you haven't gotten over it, and I'm over here chilling. So I don't know who's on their cycle.
In 2022 or 21, I think, we got linked to Cunha. He was at Atletico at the time. I'd watched him in La Liga, and I thought, this guy is not it. And I'm not saying he's not. Now he goes to Wolves. He's a much better player at Wolves. At United, there are things that we need from him. And I've always felt like throughout the season, people have been hyping him up for no real reason. He's a moments player, and that's fine. A lot of forwards are moments players. But the thing he does that annoys me the most was what he did today. And he does it all the time. He picks up the ball, puts his head down, and he just starts to run. This isn't the first time he's done that. Today wasn't the first time. He did that last week. But somehow he comes out from games and people are like, Maverick. Yeah, we know he's a Maverick, but we need to see more. We need to see that. Now, please, I'm not comparing him with Rashford. Please, I'm not doing that. But there's a thing that Rashford and Martial used to do at the edge of the box. Quick passes, interplay, interchange. That's what I want to see. Create chances. The lack of GA means something. He's not one of those players that's like, oh yeah, he's doing all these things we can't see. We need to see more. And that's what
Mr. Bond, that's what I want to ask you a question. I mean, it's the system though that's made him like that, right?
No, it's clearly not the system. In fact, actually, when you watch him at Wolves, the Wolves thing is very different. They're a team that has to sit back and then he has to carry the ball and run.
But there's also more space because teams are not sitting back defensively. And listen, I like. Again, this is why I do what I do for balance, right? I hear your point. I like Cunha, and I think he's had a number of very good games for us without scoring or assisting. Plus, of course, he scored against Brighton, which was very, very good. The elements of his game that do frustrate me are very similar to Bruno Fernandes. Sometimes I don't mind Bruno Fernandes when he tries to thread the eye of a needle to score a goal and it gets intercepted or it's slightly overhit. It's when there's a really simple pass and it's underhit or it goes straight to an opponent. And Cunha, in my opinion, is just as bad at Bruno so far at that. What I find very interesting is that because people like Cunha for some of the skills that he has and he's silky, he gets nowhere near the criticism that Bruno used to get in that 10 role, even though Bruno was scoring and assisting at a much higher rate. That for me, and I like Cunha, so this is about balance, Staffy, just to understand the way I do this. That's what I find interesting about the criticism or lack of Cunha, because if Bruno was making the same mistakes Cunha was, people would be wanting to hire hitmen. Do you know what I mean? They'd be asking to fight him in the car park. So there are things
that's because Bruno isn't likable. That's why.
Yeah, that's irrelevant again for grown men when assessing footballers. Their likability should play very little when you're assessing.
I mean, that's a very logical way to view it, but we all know that's not how people.
Not for the emotional men. No, and we're all emotional at times. I was at the beginning of the show. It is. Mr. Bond, I agree that he's got to get better. There are things he's definitely got to improve on, no doubt about it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He does have this knack for being able to look good, even when being average. And that's a thing that Dalot had for years before his thing became obviously bad. And obviously, he's not Dalot, obviously. But yeah, he does need to improve. Mboma is a machine. That's what we want. Efficiency. That's all. It's not hard to ask, I don't think.
It's strangely with him. I find it's the simple things, Mr. Bond, that he needs to get better with. The hard stuff, the difficult stuff's great. I like that he's a moments player. That I'm never going to bemoan. Man United need more moments players. You need more players that do more brilliant things in difficult moments. You need more of that in football, not less of it. I think it's a really weird element of our game that's some analysis where people don't want moments. I want more. This here from Rory with his members chat says Staffy hates monologues and then does his own.
I was going
to say that, yeah.
I couldn't find the opportunity to put that in there.
I know, I was absolutely dying. I was dying when Staffy went, Terry, I've got
this is what people
challenge you, but you monologue for 10 minutes, and then you just went on to monologue for 10 minutes for yourself.
So here's the thing. If Terry allowed me to challenge him opinion by opinion, I wouldn't have to go on a monologue to respond to his
hang on a minute. But we're not going to hang on. Sorry. You don't don't play victim now, Staffy. This isn't the show for challenging every opinion of mine bit by bit, because it's a large panel and there's my audience, actually the most important part, who we try and speak to the most. You get, unlike most people, a once a week show on the terrace for an hour and a half where you can challenge anything of mine you want. I know we have topics that we like to go through, but you get a chance to do that every single week, my friend. And but it's interesting. The reason why my response was quite long is because your opening monologue was 11 and a half minutes long, so I had to respond to those points. That's why it took me long.
Like 30 minutes, and you didn't ask me a question. You said Staffy just talk, so I just start talking about the game.
That's cool. But I've got no issue with you having a monologue.
Yeah, I'm just saying you usually respond to me in monologues.
If you speak for 10, but your monologue was partly about me, because you came on and did. I couldn't listen to Terry. Pretty much the first things that came out of your mouth were, I was listening to Terry and I basically had to switch off because he was talk about cause and symptoms. It's basically the first thing you said that came out of your mouth.
The first thing I said, I agreed with Neji, and then I mentioned what KJ
and then you mentioned that about me, and then you went on to talk. So therefore, because you called me out, I responded. But if you speak for 10 minutes and make 5, 6, 7 points, the response is going to take a little bit of time as well, my friend.
So we both do monologues. Let's agree on that.
Yeah, and I ain't got an issue with it. You're the one who cried. My bad for the typo. Meant tactically won us the game. Okay, hear your point. Listen, I don't disagree with that element of the criticism of the manager. I've called it out myself. Bruno in one game, he'll have a 9 out of 10, another 4 out of 10. Playing out, but again, that's something else all season I blamed Amorim for. Just for the record, for the Amorim outers, when I'm on your side, he shouldn't be playing in that position. And something me and Staffy have agreed on all season.
Terry, a quick point on that. Sorry, that's 10 seconds.
Of course, mate.
We played 2 midfielders. We need to have the 2 10s drop into form a box. Today, they did not do that. And it made it quite easy to just run through our midfield. So I'm not blaming Bruno for that, honestly.
Yeah, but that's a great point. But then we've seen the system is the players are meant to do that. But then if the 10s aren't dropping into that position to do it, do you blame the system, or do you blame the midfielders being overrun, the system, or the players for not executing the system? For me, we've done it brilliantly in some games and it's worked. So if I'm not seeing Cunha do it, I'm not blaming Bruno for that element, and I'm not blaming the manager. I'm blaming the player for not following the instructions, because when they have, we've won games. This is Terry. I'm not betting on United anymore. No, never. Always bet on us to lose away from home. We've won 5 games away from home in over a year. And people
bro, I had so much chest in the group chat for United. This is disgusting, bro. I don't know why I do it to myself.
Why do you do it to yourself?
I don't get it. I look at United's schedule and I'm like, dude, United played Arsenal, they played Liverpool, they played City. Their schedule was so much tougher. They're going to win those games. Like
this from Ronin came through during Neji and KJ's fight. It says that this is like going to your friend's house and their parents start fighting. You all look like cousins. Stop fighting and get along for the family. Listen, I'm going to say this as well, by the way. I'm going to say this point. When I say our staff is coming on and being really, really rude to me, I'm just digging back at him. We're cool, right? He's not going to get cooked off the Football Terrace. There'll be certain amoebas and low-rent YouTubers that will sit there and do a reaction video to it and go, Terry's rude. Some will say Staffy's horrible. Some will say, oh, there's problems at Shay's Football Terrace. It's just grown men having a bit of a debate, digging each other out a little bit. And KJ and Neji are going to be fine. And when they see each other face-to-face in a few weeks at my birthday party, they'll be grand. And if they want to have a fight...
have a tag team match.
Yeah, we should do... Yeah.
Terry, this is what happens when United lose a game.
I'm taking AG on my side.
AG are normally on the same side.
We're nice, man. Me and KJ
it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, you have to understand. Right? When you're passionate, everyone's passionate. United fans minus the Tottenham fans. When you're passionate about it, and then you're talking with your boys about it, and then you have different points about it, that's going to boil into the conversation. But
do you know what happened?
I also have that conversation in that way.
I went to the door and then came back, and so I came in a minute or two into it, so I didn't want to interject at all. But what I thought was interesting is that I did feel you were kind of talking across paths in the sense of you're saying he's got to be benched, but he'd already been benched. Maybe then he shouldn't have come on. But the way you did speak made it sound like he ain't good enough for Man United. There was that, and this I'm Staffy. I'm so sorry, bro. That's why you need a host that can come in, irrespective of their personal belief about the situation, and go, let's find the common ground and understanding around the conversation, so we can maybe move forward.
Well,
I thought
I made it clear with the Zertsky situation, because I was talking about it, and obviously the build up to me saying he's not good enough was off the back of giving the criticism of the type of things he was doing on the pitch.
Yeah.
So, but obviously I must have thought that he heard that. He obviously didn't. So
He
that's
isn't
why I was
wrong, by
like,
the way, on that point. Like, sometimes when a player is just not playing well, even if you don't like the sub, at some point you got to drop a player for another one. I'm not really high on Xerxes.
I'm cool
I don't
with
even think Najee's that high on Xerxes. Like, I've never heard him.
No, I'm not a big. The thing for me, Staffy, I always put in my opinions are always based on Man United first. So even if I have to go against my own preference of something, I'll make a claim of something, even if it means that Man United are going to struggle with it. You know, when I spoke about strikers,
the thesis of coaching, when someone is not good enough and you've tried it time and time again, sometimes the fact that it's just a different idea, by default, you have to go for it.
I would say in the summer we need an experienced striker. If we can get one, or if we can even get one in January and let Sesko learn from him, I think that's a better position, because I don't want the same thing to happen to Højlund. Because I said when we got Højlund, I said give him 2 years and the fans will turn against him. I told them that because I said it's too much pressure for a young striker to come in with talent to be that for Man United. So respectfully, we need a more mature striker.
Garrett here says, when Staffy opened with, at least I won't be the most negative person on the panel, that wasn't a statement, it was a challenge, is what Garrett said.
I was absolutely creasing when I read that.
You know what it is? I let me tell you guys this. I just like to spice up things a little bit when I talk. Like, I know I could have started my monologue by saying, oh, I disagree with Terry, but I didn't want to say that. I wanted to wind up Terry. So I said it in a different way. I just generally get joy sometimes by challenging Terry in a way that I think is going to piss him off. It's been 30 minutes and he still asks me for permission if he can properly host the show. To me, I didn't leave with the 3 points today in terms of United, but I feel like I left with 3 points against Terry. To me, that made my weekend.
To be fair, Staffy, you made him bend in with the background, bruv. Like, I'm starting to lose sight of Terry because that's how I read his game. You know what I mean?
In fairness, go to the beginning of the video. I read that it's because I had a bottle of whiskey last night. That's why the old red cheeks are there. But now, Staffy, listen, and I can take it, but that's why I'm winding you up now, and it's going to be an ongoing theme that we have to ask for your permission on stuff. You little fucking crybaby. A draw is not the end of the world. Some after Sesko's injury, we played with 10 men as we did not have subs. Any thoughts? Do you know what? I didn't say this at the beginning because I was angry. And I did say in my monologue at the start, I said, when I calm down, I might see things differently. I'm very aware of that. When we went down to 10 men, that pissed me off because I felt like we had a great chance to win it at 1-1. You know, Sesko got put through on goal. And I actually thought we attacked so much better after the substitutions. And I thought Mount came on and played quite well, but then we lost him and we weren't trying to attack and it was shit. But yeah, who knows?
Now that we've come through the rage and the debates and the heatedness, guys, we can be shameless now. 5 games unbeaten. We stopped the Spurs rot that we've had. We're going into international break.
Yeah.
You know what's been good though. I'll be more positive in my team. I'm normally quite balanced and fair, but you know, and I feel like I still have been, but I've been a bit slightly one-sided today. But one thing I will say about United is the fact that it's been 5 games. We scored 2 goals both of those games. The games that we have played have been all top half bar. One team, I think, or Brighton technically. Sunderland were 3rd when we beat them. You know, Liverpool, of course, was a mazza. We were going to struggle against Brighton, so we thought, because of how we've been playing. Same with Liverpool. Tottenham as well today. The fact that we've had some level of fight in the team, even if we haven't been playing on all strings and been quality, the fact that I've seen some form of comeback, even though I want a little bit more, if I'm being honest, it shows some form of grit. And I think you have to give that to the players and the manager equally.
Yes,
I think that was why I said before.
Yeah,
I would love to hear from Amorim if Sesko had some sort of niggling injury or something before the game.
He hurt his knee. They said that.
Because I was very surprised about the lineup, and then obviously he's came on and gone off injured.
Oh,
so
you mean the lineup, sorry.
Oh, maybe there was. I mean, look, I think mentality is a really interesting point, though, Staffy. Like when we actually speak about it seriously, because when we've gone behind in the last 2 games and collapsed, we've then gone on to somewhat recover it. For me, what I would like to explore, like literally, I'd like to talk to the players. I'd love to be in there. I'd love to be a fly on the wall. Is it happened against Forest, and then it happened again today. We were getting kind of worse and looking sketchy, couldn't hold on to the ball. We go 2-1 down, and it's like something clicked in our heads. But that clicking in our heads when we go 2-1 down, I need that at 0-0. I need that at 2-1. So there is still a mentality issue within that. And I don't just want my team to click into that gear away from home when we're losing. And I'll tell you why I'll call that out, because it's something we all spoke about under Ollie, is the amount of, we went on that mad unbeaten, we went on quite a long unbeaten run away from home, to be fair, but we nearly always went a goal behind. And we all said at some point, you're going to come up, we need that mentality at 1-0 down. We need that from 0-0. and maybe we'll become a much better team. So I do think that there's truth in what you say. We're not bad our mentality isn't bad at every single minute of every single game. It's periods, and it's about getting that balance right for me personally. Joshua Jacket.
Sorry, just quickly. I think just off memory, just quickly, the last time I think we had that was the first game of the season against Arsenal, where it was just continuous creative chances, keep going, even though we weren't bagging the goals. 22. That's the first.
I feel like at home. Yeah, I feel like at home to be the Chelsea game was weird because the 10 men thing and everything, 2-0 up. But I actually think at home we've been so much better. Like again, we played at home today, different game. I think we beat them 2 or 3-0. I think we're getting that at Old Trafford again, slowly. Away from home just feels like almost feels like 2 different football teams playing home and away. And we need to get that near the middle. But Joshua Jack here says, I will say the Ugarte signing is majority on the board. Well, it can't be on Amorim. He wasn't fucking here when we signed him.
Majority.
I mean, for that one, he says, and I said at the time he wasn't a like for Scott McTominay. Now, I agree with you on that. I still look at Ugarte. And I won't take back what I said. He's someone who breaks up play and he wins the ball back and things like that. Although he did a very bad job of that today when he came on. The issue is that I'm not saying we've gone away from that, but we need better than that in the Premier League, and we need someone who's better on the ball. And it's one of the signings. Dorgu could be another one of them. I'm still going to give him time, but they've just not been good enough. Irrespective of whether I liked him before or when he came, is he relevant? He hasn't been good enough, and you can hold your hands up and say it. He doesn't offer us enough. He hasn't been good enough in the Premier League, and we need to look for better. But we need that. It isn't just him. There's multiple players we need that for, which is also why the squad clear-out is still a massive issue for the
translation to that, because I know Terry likes to say it the nice way. Now I'll give you the Staffy way. He's shit. Quicker, straight to the point. There you go.
Just
you
to touch on what
that does, Staffy, and it's why your YouTube channel will grow if you do this. It's about engaging with the audience and giving them multiple sides rather than just it's shit.
I know we give them both sides of the coin. You gave them one side, I give them one side.
On-site feedback on how to make your YouTube channel better is that way, bruv. Just like engage more, see it from both sides, play devil's advocate, hypotheticals. It really works well. Does work.
I've decided to buy bots.
Yeah, sorry, quick one. Yeah.
Yes! Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Got him.
No, I think I put it up today, bro. Get me off the screen, bro.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Sorry, quick
I love this guy here. Right? I love this guy. Well, look at one of my bots here talking. Terry's childish. So, man, Staffy can come on and dig me out and the way I do things and have a go at me. I have a bit of fun back, and I'm childish. Come on, see? That's why I have an issue with you, Tyler. I don't have an issue with Staffy one bit. I have an issue with babies like you that like seeing me get teased, but I tease back and I'm an arsehole. I got a message for people like you. I know you're a bot and you're not real, but I'm going to say it. Fuck you, you dick. I'm going to mess around like everybody else. Anyway, look, we've come to the end of the show now. I want to thank everyone who's tuned. I did not think we'd be live for 2 hours. I want to thank everyone who's super chatted, everyone who's come on the shows, everybody who's joined in. With us today. The community is absolutely amazing, even though the result was crap. Panel, amazing, really good challenge, really good debates, really good fights. Absolutely love being on
here.
In
the comments who had the better debate, me and Terry or KJ and AG.
Obviously me and AG.
Yeah, let us know.
The KJ one. I think I was just a clear misunderstanding, whereas Staffy and Terry had an understanding of each other, but debated over it. So.
Well, let the audience
I would say their debate personally, but yeah, I think ours was more fiery.
What's the point?
Or which monologue was better?
Yeah,
monologues.
You need a monologue tier list.
Can you clip them and just title it "Battle of the Monologues"?
Monologues, yeah. I got you.
Listen,
10
people.
minutes each.
Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all again soon. Peace.